The sages of antiquity did not speak in riddles to confuse, but in metaphors to awaken. They taught that the universe does not hear your words, but feels the vibration of your being. They understood a secret that has been veiled by the noise of the modern world, a truth so simple and yet so profound that it rests at the very center of your existence. This truth is what we have gathered here to remember. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the air enter your body, a silent guest, and feel it leave, a silent messenger. For a moment, let go of the day. Let go of the person you are supposed to be, the tasks you are supposed to complete, the worries you are supposed to carry. Let it all fall away. In this space, I want to ask you something. Do you feel it? A quiet hum beneath the surface of your life, a silent ache for more, not more things, not more achievements, but more meaning, more depth, more truth. Why does the world you see so often feel disconnected from the world you desire in your heart? You have followed the rules, you have walked the prescribed paths, you have striven and you have struggled. Yet, the reflection that looks back at you from the mirror of your life feels incomplete, a stranger almost. This feeling is not a weakness, it is not a flaw, it is a call. It is the memory of your own power, stirring from a long slumber. We have been taught to trade our time for money, our energy for security, our peace for progress. We have learned to use the currencies of the outer world, the paper and the metal, the stocks and the bonds, but we have forgotten the original currency, the first and most powerful medium of exchange in all of creation. This journey we are about to take, you and I, is not about learning a new trick or a new technique. It is a return, a homecoming. It is a journey back to your inner mint, the place where the only true currency of reality is forged. This currency is not made of gold or paper. It is not stored in a bank or a vault. It is forged in the fires of your attention and minted with the seal of your belief. It is made of thought. Every single thought you possess is a coin, spent in the great marketplace of existence, purchasing the experiences you call your life. You are far wealthier and far more powerful than you have ever been led to believe. And the proof is not out there, in the world. It is in here, within you. Now, let us begin. Let us now travel deeper, past the gates of the thinking mind, beyond the landscape of fleeting emotions, to a place far more fundamental. I want you to imagine, with me, a space deep within you. It is ancient, timeless, and perpetually active. It is a forge, a sacred workshop. This is your inner mint. It is not a place of idle fantasy. It is the very engine room of your reality. Listen, can you hear it? A low, resonant hum. The steady heat of a living fire, the rhythmic, powerful strike of a hammer on an anvil. This mint is always operational. It does not sleep when you sleep. It does not pause when you are distracted. Moment by moment, breath by breath, it is forging the currency of your life. The coins it produces are not of metal or paper. They are coins of experience, coins of circumstance, coins of perception. Every single thing that appears in the landscape of your life, from the smallest joy to the deepest sorrow, from the most mundane encounter to the most profound revelation, was first minted right here, in this sacred inner space. For too long, we have believed ourselves to be beggars in the marketplace of life, hoping for a handout, scrambling for the coins that others have dropped. We have believed we are subject to the whims of an external economy, a system of luck and chance. This is the great illusion. The truth is, you are the master of your own mint. You are the source of your own wealth. The world does not happen to you, it flows from you. And to understand this, we must look closely at the elements at play within this forge. We must become acquainted with the raw materials, the tools, and the craftsman who presides over it all. First, consider the raw material itself. The metal, before it is a coin, before it has any shape or inscription, what is it? It is pure, unmanifested potential. Imagine a shimmering liquid light, a substance of infinite possibility, containing within it the echo of everything that ever was and the seed of everything that ever could be. This is the very stuff of the cosmos. Quantum physicists might call it the unified field. Sages might call it spirit or being. It has no opinion. It has no preference. It is utterly neutral, utterly malleable, and utterly obedient. It simply is. This field of pure potential is your birthright. It is the infinite and inexhaustible supply from which all form arises. It is the quiet, aware space that exists between your thoughts, the silence that underlies all sound. It is the canvas upon which your life is painted. Most of us live our entire lives unaware that this infinite supply is the very essence of our being. We look at the finished paintings of circumstance and forget we are connected to the infinite blank canvas underneath. Now, this raw, formless potential cannot shape itself. It requires energy. It requires heat to become pliable. This is the second element of your mint, the fire. The fire of the forge is your consciousness. It is your awareness. The simple, non-judgmental act of being aware. When you bring your awareness to something, you are stoking the fire. You are channeling the energy of the universe into that focal point. Without this fire, the raw metal of potential remains dormant, inert. It is your attention, your conscious presence, that heats it to the point where it can be shaped. Think about this. Where has your fire been directed today? Was it on the news of the world, on the anxieties of the future, on the regrets of the past? Or was it on the feeling of peace, the vision of your highest self, the gratitude for the present moment? The fire is impartial. It will heat whatever you place within its flames. It does not judge whether the object is worthy or unworthy. It simply provides the transformative energy. To control your reality, you must first become the master of this sacred fire. You must learn to direct your awareness with intention, rather than letting it run wild like an untended flame, scorching indiscriminately. With the raw metal heated by the fire of your awareness, we now need a craftsman, a smith to handle this potent, energized substance. The third element of the mint is the smith himself. And this smith is your focus. It is the directing intelligence of your attention. While awareness is the broad, ambient heat of the fire, focus is the smith who gathers that heat, who takes the molten potential and decides what to do with it. For many of us, the smith has been working on autopilot for years. He has been conditioned by our upbringing, by our culture, by our past failures and successes. He is a creature of habit. He wakes up and immediately begins to forge coins of Monday morning dread, because that is what he has always done. He forges coins of "I'm not good enough" during a challenge, because that is his ingrained response. He forges coins of scarcity and lack when looking at bills, because it is a deeply grooved pattern. The smith in your mind has been working, but he has not been working for you. He has been working for your programming. The first great act of awakening is to walk into the forge, look this smith in the eye, and let him know there is a new master in the house. You will no longer allow him to work from old, unconscious blueprints. Every smith needs tools. He needs a hammer and an anvil. The anvil is the fourth element. It is the solid, unshakable platform of the present moment, the now. Creation can only happen here, in this instant. It cannot happen yesterday. It cannot happen tomorrow. The anvil is always right here, right now, waiting. It is the only point of power you will ever have. The past is a ledger of coins already spent. The future is a vault of potential coins yet to be minted. But the forging, the strike, the act of creation happens only on the anvil of the now. The hammer is the fifth element. It is the force of your will, your intention. When you make a clear decision, when you declare what you want to be, do, or have, you are lifting the hammer. It is the active, masculine principle of directed force. A weak intention is a light tap. A powerful, committed intention, backed by feeling, is a mighty, resounding strike that shapes the metal with authority. And this brings us to the most crucial element of all, the final piece that determines the value, the meaning, and the identity of the coin. It is the die, the stamp. The die is the sixth element. It is your core belief, your dominant assumption about yourself and about reality. After the smith of your focus has placed the molten potential from the fire of your awareness onto the anvil of the now and raised the hammer of your intention, it is the die that he uses to strike. It is the die that presses an image, an inscription, into the formless. And that image is your deepest, most abiding belief. Walk through this process with me. See the smith your focused attention. Take a ladle of the shimmering liquid light of pure potential. He carries it from the great reservoir of being. He holds it in the fire of your conscious awareness until it glows with possibility. He then pours it onto the solid anvil of this very moment. He lifts the heavy hammer of your will, your clear intention, and then he takes the die. What is written on your die? Is it etched with the words, "Life is a struggle"? Is it engraved with the image of, "I am always overlooked"? Is it patterned with, "I am not worthy of love"? Or does it bear the inscription, "I am abundant, I am whole, and I am guided"? Whatever is on that die, that is the pattern that will be imprinted. The hammer strikes, a flash of light, a sound that echoes through your being. And there, cooling on the anvil, is a newly minted coin, a coin of experience. It is a perfect, flawless reproduction of the belief held on the die. The universe does not argue, it does not judge. It simply honors the mold you have provided. This coin is then released. It goes out into the economy of the cosmos, and by the immutable law of resonance, it purchases for you an experience that is its exact energetic match. You have just spent your thought, and reality has given you the change. This is happening every moment. Right now, as you listen to my voice, your mint is operational. The question is not if you are creating, but what you are creating. For most of us, the mint is a place of chaos. The smith is drunk on distraction. The fire is stoked by random fear. The hammer is weak and indecisive, and the die is a rusted relic pulled from a box of childhood wounds. The sound is not a rhythmic, powerful creation, but a discordant, frantic clanging. Misshapen coins of anxiety, frustration, and boredom are being produced by the thousands and flung into the world, and we wonder why our lives feel so impoverished. Do not despair. This is not a cause for blame, but for awakening. The purpose of this journey is not to shame you for the coins you have minted in the past. It is to hand you the keys to the forge. It is to remind you that you can choose to enter the mint at any time. You can calm the frantic smith. You can tend the fire with care. You can strengthen the strike of the hammer. And most importantly, you can choose to craft a new die, a new belief, a new assumption about who you are. This is the great work. It is the art of conscious creation. It begins not with a great effort, but with a simple act of observation. The first step to becoming the master of the mint is to stand at the doorway of your inner forge, to watch, to listen, to become aware without judgment that the minting is happening right now. You must see the process in action before you can hope to guide it. And so, we must now learn to become the one who watches, the one who is aware of the smith at his work. We must become the silent observer. We have stood at the threshold of the inner mint, this powerful, ceaseless forge of reality. We have felt its heat and heard the chaotic clang of unconscious creation. The first impulse upon witnessing this is to rush in, to grab the hammer from the sleeping smith, to try and fix the die, to wrestle control of the entire operation through sheer force of will. But this is the path of struggle. This is the way of exhaustion. Before you can become the master of the mint, you must first understand its rhythm, its habits, its hidden mechanics. And you cannot understand the smith while you still believe that you are the smith. You cannot diagnose the machine while you are still a gear within it. So, for now, I ask you not to rush in. I ask you to do something far more radical, far more powerful. I ask you to take one step back. Step out of the heat and the noise. Step into the cool, quiet stillness of the doorway. From this new vantage point, you cease to be a participant. You become a witness. We must learn to become the one who watches. We must become the silent observer. This is, perhaps, the single most important shift in perspective a human being can make. It is the pivot upon which the entire journey of awakening turns. For we live our lives in a state of deep, hypnotic fusion with the activity of our own minds. We are not taught that we have thoughts. We are raised to believe we are our thoughts. We do not feel that we have emotions. We believe we are our emotions. When a thought of sadness appears in the mind, we do not say, "Ah, the energy of sadness is passing through my awareness." We say, "I am sad." When a thought of anger flashes through the forge, we do not see it as a spark from the fire. We say, "I am angry." When a thought of fear about the future is minted, we do not recognize it as a familiar, worn-out coin. We say, "I am anxious." This fusion, this complete and unquestioning identification with the ceaseless stream of mental and emotional energy, is the fundamental trance of humanity. It is the source of all suffering. When you are fused with your thoughts, you are their slave. You are a ship without a captain, tossed on the waves of your own inner weather. A happy thought floats by, and you are lifted high. A fearful thought follows, and you are plunged into the depths. Your peace, your stability, your very sense of self are held hostage by the next random thought that bubbles up from the great unlit depths of the subconscious. The smith in the mint forges a coin of self-doubt, and your entire day is spent in the currency of insecurity. He mints a coin of old resentment, and you spend your precious life energy reliving a battle that ended long ago. You are not living your life. You are being lived by your programming. To break this trance is to claim your freedom. And the key to breaking it is to realize one simple, monumental truth. You are not the thought. You are the awareness that is aware of the thought. Let us set aside the forge for a moment and embrace a new metaphor, one of gentleness and flow. Imagine that your mind is a great, wide river. The water itself is the stream of your consciousness, that endless flow of thinking, feeling, sensing, and remembering. Sometimes, after a storm of events, the river is a raging, muddy torrent. At other times, in moments of peace, it is a slow, clear, meandering stream. This river is always flowing. It is its nature to flow. Now, floating on the surface of this river, carried by its current, is all manner of debris. There are leaves, twigs, fallen branches, logs, blossoms, and sediment. These are your thoughts and emotions. They appear from somewhere upstream the past, your memory, your conditioning. They float into your field of awareness, linger for a while, and then, if left alone, they simply float away downstream, disappearing from view. Our great mistake is that we spend our lives leaping into the river and identifying with the debris. A leaf of worry floats by, and we grab onto it, believing we are that leaf. We are pulled and tumbled by the current, struggling to keep our heads above water, convinced that the very essence of our being is this fragile, transient piece of foliage. A heavy log of a painful memory appears, and we cling to it, fighting to push it to the shore or drown it, all the while becoming waterlogged and exhausted. We see a beautiful blossom of a happy moment float past, and we clutch it with desperate joy, only to feel immense sorrow as it inevitably wilts and flows beyond our grasp. We have mistaken the transient objects in the river for the river itself. But the deepest truth is this: you are not the leaf, you are not the log, you are not the blossom, you are not even the ever-changing current of the water. So who are you? You are the vast, silent, immovable riverbed underneath it all. You are the great, sturdy banks of the river that contain the flow. You are the silent, spacious awareness in which the entire spectacle of the river takes place. The riverbed does not become angry when the water is muddy. The banks do not feel anxious when the current is fast. They simply provide the container. They hold the space for it all to happen. They are the silent, constant witness, unchanging, unmoved, at peace. To discover this part of yourself is to find the source of unshakable peace. It is to come home. Let us try a small experiment, right here, right now. You don't need to change your posture or even close your eyes unless you feel comfortable doing so. Simply bring your attention inward. For a moment, just listen to the sound of my voice and feel the sensations in your body. Now, I want you to simply wait for the next thought to arise. Do not chase it. Do not produce it. Just be the silent watcher at the train station, waiting for the next train to pull in. Sooner or later, a thought will appear. It might be a judgment of this process. It might be a memory of your morning. It might be a plan for your evening. It doesn't matter what it is. When it appears, I want you to perform a simple, gentle act. Label it. As you see it, just say to yourself, silently, a thought, or thinking, or even more specifically, a thought about my to-do list, a memory of that conversation, worrying. The act of labeling it is profoundly significant. You cannot label something if you are it. By naming it, you have already created a sliver of space between you, the observer, and the thought, the observed. You have moved from being the actor in the drama to being the audience. Once you have labeled it, do not fight it. Do not try to push it away. That is a form of resistance. And what you resist persists. It is like trying to drown a piece of cork. The struggle itself gives it buoyancy. Instead, do something radical. Acknowledge its right to be there. See the thought leaf floating on your river and simply nod to it. I see you, thought of worry. I acknowledge your presence in my space. This is an act of deep acceptance. It does not mean you agree with the thought or want to act on it. It simply means you are no longer at war with your own mind. You are allowing the river to flow. Now, here is the most crucial step. Having seen the thought and acknowledged it, gently shift your attention to the one who is doing the seeing. Who is it that is aware of the thought? Who is it that noticed the worry? Can you feel, in the background of your mind, a quiet, still presence, a sense of just being here? That is the witness. That is the observer. That is the vast, calm riverbed. Rest your attention there. Feel the quality of it. It is not anxious. It is not hurried. It is not judging. It is just aware. This awareness is the real you. As you rest in that awareness, notice what happens to the thought. Without your energy, without your focus, without your resistance, it begins to lose its power. It loses its grip on you. Like a leaf you are no longer clinging to, it simply continues its journey, carried by the natural current, floating gently downstream until it is out of sight. Its nature is to arise and to pass away. Your nature is to remain. Let another thought come. Repeat the process. See it. Label it gently. Planning. Acknowledge it without resistance. I see you. And then, immediately, shift your attention back to the seer, the silent background awareness. Rest there. That is your anchor. That is your home base. This is not a complex chore. It is a simple, restful practice of undoing. You are undoing a lifetime of mistaken identity. You are learning to disentangle your pure being from the mental noise. Each time you do this, you reclaim a piece of your power. You take back your energy from the chaotic forge. The noise of the mint may continue for a while. The smith may still be frantically hammering away based on old habits, but it no longer disturbs you in the same way. You hear the noise, but you are the silence that contains the noise. You are no longer lost in the machine. You are its calm, conscious supervisor, watching from the quiet doorway. This is the birth of inner freedom. This is the first light of dawn, after a long, dark night of the soul. From this place of spacious observation, and only from this place, can we begin the real work of taming the inner static and bringing conscious order to the mint. From the quiet, spacious doorway of the observer, you can now perceive your inner world with a new clarity. You are no longer lost within the heat and the clatter of the forge. You are its witness. And from this vantage point, you begin to notice something you were previously too consumed by to recognize. It is a constant, low-level, pervasive hum of activity. It is not always the loud, dramatic hammering of a major life crisis or a powerful desire. More often, it is a persistent, underlying static, a background noise. It is the sound of 1,000 tiny, unfinished thoughts, fragmented plans, replayed conversations, and vague, free-floating anxieties. This is the inner static, and you must understand, this static is monumentally expensive. It is the silent thief of your life force. Every moment you spend lost in its meaningless noise, you are spending the precious creative currency of your attention. It is a constant, slow drain on your spiritual and energetic bank account, leaving you feeling depleted and overwhelmed, often without knowing why. Before we can learn to consciously mint coins of joy, peace, and abundance, we must first stop the hemorrhaging of our wealth on this useless, distracting noise. We must learn to tame the inner static. Let us use another metaphor. Imagine that your consciousness is an exquisitely sensitive radio receiver, designed to pick up the most subtle and beautiful broadcasts from the universe. The power source for this radio is your own vital energy, your life force. On any given day, you have a finite amount of this energy. The broadcast it is designed to receive is the clear, coherent signal of your higher self, of intuition, of creative intelligence, of profound peace. This signal is always being transmitted, a constant symphony of wisdom and guidance. But what happens when the tuning dial is not set correctly? What happens when it is caught between stations, turning randomly, influenced by every passing interference? The radio does not fall silent. It produces static, a harsh, grating, meaningless hiss. This is the state of the undisciplined mind. It is a radio that is not tuned to any clear signal. Instead, its dial spins wildly, picking up fragments of everything. It picks up the frequency of fear from the collective consciousness, the endless chatter of other people's opinions, the echoes of yesterday's news reports, the phantom anxieties about a future that does not exist. It crackles with the jingles of advertisements you heard years ago and replays the sharp words from an argument you had last week. It is a cacophony of noise. Now, here is the crucial insight. Producing this static, this meaningless noise, consumes just as much power from your battery as receiving a clear and beautiful signal would. The relentless hiss and crackle is energetically exhausting. This is the primary reason for the pervasive sense of fatigue that plagues the modern world. It is not just physical exhaustion, it is a deep, spiritual exhaustion. We have spent our entire daily budget of life force powering a radio that is producing nothing but noise. We are draining our creative potential, moment by moment, just to maintain a state of inner chaos. Taming the static is not a luxury. It is the most essential act of energy conservation you can possibly undertake. Let us perform an anatomy of this static so we can recognize it more clearly in our own experience. A major component of this noise is what we can call the endless rehearsal. This is the part of the mind that is constantly preparing for a future that has not arrived. It rehearses conversations you plan to have, practicing your lines, anticipating the other person's responses. It plays out job interviews, difficult confrontations, and social gatherings on a loop, trying to control every possible outcome. All of this is pure fantasy, a phantom drama staged in the theater of your mind, yet it consumes real, tangible energy. Another component is the constant replay. This is the opposite of rehearsal. It is the mind's obsession with the past. It functions like a broken record, replaying events, especially those tinged with embarrassment, regret, or anger. It endlessly analyzes what you should have said, what you could have done. It dissects old wounds, keeping them fresh and open. Each replay is a fresh expenditure of your currency on a debt that has already been paid. You are pouring your present moment power into a black hole of history. Then there is the quietest, but perhaps most pervasive form of static, the fragmented worry. This is not the grand, dramatic fear of a major catastrophe. It is the steady, dripping faucet of small anxieties. What if I'm late? Did I lock the door? I hope they don't think my email was rude. What if it rains? I hope I don't forget to buy milk. Each one is a tiny, almost unnoticeable thought, a single drop. But the constant drip, drip, drip of these micro-anxieties throughout the day can erode your inner peace and empty your reservoir of energy. Finally, there is the idle judgment. This is the mind's non-stop commentary on everything. It judges the weather, the traffic, the clothes someone is wearing, the post you just saw online, and most harshly of all, it judges you. This inner critic is a master of producing static. It whispers that you are not smart enough, not attractive enough, not disciplined enough. It compares you to others, always finding you lacking. This running commentary is pure noise. It does not help. It does not solve. It only pollutes your inner environment and drains your spirit. So how do we turn down the volume on this chaotic broadcast? How do we find the clear signal beneath the noise? You do not do it by fighting the static. Fighting noise only creates more noise. You do not do it by trying to rip the dial off the radio. You do it by gently, deliberately, and consciously tuning to a different frequency. The master tuning dial on your inner radio is your attention, anchored firmly in the present moment. The static, in all its forms, is composed almost exclusively of thoughts about the unchangeable past and the imaginary future. The clear signal of life, of peace, of truth, can only ever be found in one place, the now. Your anchor to the now is the breath. The breath is a miracle we ignore. It is the perfect spiritual tool because it is always with you, and it is always, without exception, happening in the present moment. You cannot take a breath yesterday. You cannot take a breath tomorrow. You can only take this breath right now. Let us use it. Wherever you are, bring your attention to the sensation of your own breathing. Do not try to change it. Simply observe it. Feel the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils. Follow that stream of air as it travels down into your lungs. Notice the gentle, subtle expansion of your chest, your ribs, your belly. For a moment, be utterly fascinated by this physical sensation. At the very peak of your inhalation, notice the pause, a moment of perfect stillness before the tide turns. Then, follow the breath as it leaves your body. Feel the slight warmth of the air as it passes your lips. Notice the feeling of surrender, of release, as your body lets go. For the few seconds that you are completely absorbed in this sensory experience, the static must fall silent. It is a law of consciousness. The mind cannot be fully present with a physical sensation and simultaneously lost in abstract thought about the past or future. You have just successfully changed the station. You have tuned out of the frequency of noise and into the frequency of life. The moment you notice your mind has wandered back to the static, which it will, that is its habitu. Not judge yourself. Do not be frustrated. That is just more static. Simply see that it has happened and gently, kindly guide your attention back to the anchor of the breath. Each time you do this, you are performing an act of profound self-care. You are retraining the smith in the forge. You are strengthening your muscle of conscious attention. You can use other anchors as well. Right now, can you feel the life inside your hands? Without wiggling your fingers, can you feel a subtle tingling, a warmth, a vibration of aliveness within them? That is the feeling of your inner body. It is always there, and it is always in the now. Rest your attention there, feel it. By placing your focus on this inner energy field, you pull your attention out of the chaotic factory of your head and ground it in the reality of your body. Or feel your feet upon the floor. Feel the solidness, the pressure, the connection to the earth. For that moment, you are present, you are here, you have turned down the noise. This is the practice. This is how you tame the inner static, not through a great and epic battle, but through a series of small, gentle and persistent returns to the present moment. Use these anchors throughout your day. When you are standing in a line, when you are waiting for a website to load, in the moment before you answer the phone, each return is a victory. Each return conserves your precious creative energy. You are plugging the leaks in your account. You are telling the universe, I am no longer willing to spend my wealth on noise. I am saving it. I am preparing to invest it consciously and deliberately in the reality I choose to create. As you practice this, something remarkable happens. As the unrelenting hiss of the static begins to fade, you start to perceive something else. A deeper signal, long drowned out by the noise, begins to emerge. It is not a thought. It is not a voice speaking in words. It is a feeling, a resonance, a deep, intuitive sense. This feeling is the true language of the universe, and it is the signature required to authorize any major transaction in the mint of creation. In the newfound silence you have cultivated, a silence born not of effort but of gentle release, something remarkable begins to happen. As the harsh, crackling hiss of the inner static recedes, you start to perceive a different kind of sound. It is not a sound that enters through your ears. It is a resonance felt within the body, a vibration that communicates more truth than 1,000 thoughts. This is the world of feeling. For most of our lives, we have been taught to privilege the thinking mind. We worship at the altar of logic, reason, and intellectual analysis. We create endless blueprints, strategies, and plans, believing that a perfectly constructed thought is the key to creating a perfect life. Yet, we find ourselves frustrated, holding flawless architectural drawings for a beautiful house while standing in a field of weeds. This is because we have overlooked the most vital element of creation. We have forgotten the language the universe actually speaks. The universe is not a logician, it is a musician. It does not respond to the cold, hard data of your thoughts. It responds to the resonant frequency of your feelings. A thought may be the blueprint, but feeling is the power that animates the blueprint and commands the builders to begin their work. Let us be very clear about the distinct roles these two forces play. A thought is the architect. It is precise, structured, and cold. It draws the lines and defines the form. The thought, I wish to experience deep inner peace, is a perfect mental schematic. It outlines a desired state. It is a map, but you can stare at a map of a beautiful destination for a lifetime. It will not transport you there. A blueprint, on its own, is inert. It is a silent, powerless ghost of a possibility. It has no energy of its own. Feeling is the builder. Feeling is the construction crew, the raw materials, the electricity, and the life force that reads the blueprint and begins the work of manifestation. Feeling is the energy that breathes life into the ghost, that pours the foundation, that raises the walls, and that turns a drawing on a piece of paper into a living, breathing reality. A thought without feeling is a stray spark in the darkness. A feeling without a clear thought to guide it can be chaotic and undirected. But when a clear thought is deliberately fused with a powerful, sustained feeling, you have initiated the divine process of creation. You have moved from being a dreamer to being a creator. To grasp this more deeply, let us revisit the idea of currency, but on a grander scale. Imagine the universe is a great cosmic bank. Its vaults are infinite, containing every possible state of being, every conceivable experience. There are vaults overflowing with the currency of vibrant health, unconditional love, creative fulfillment, and breathtaking abundance. There are also vaults filled with lack, resentment, sickness, and despair. This bank is utterly impartial. It has no personal opinion about you. It never judges your requests. Its only law is the law of energetic correspondence. It simply and unfailingly honors every valid transaction. Now, every clear and focused intention you hold is like a blank check drawn from this universal bank. The check is made out to you. In the memo line, you use your thoughts to write down your specific request. A fulfilling career that uses my talents, or a body that is strong and energetic, or a relationship built on mutual trust and joy. You can write anything you desire on this line. There are no limits to what you can ask for. But here we arrive at the secret that has eluded so many for so long. The teller at this cosmic bank, the immutable law of creation, does not primarily look at what you have written in the memo line. The teller looks for one thing, and one thing only: a valid signature. And what is this signature? It is not your name written in ink. It is not a password or a secret code. The signature that makes the check of reality cashable is the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. It is the genuine, complete, internal acceptance and embodiment of the vibrational state that you would be in if your desire were already a fact. It is the chemical wedding of your thought and your feeling. It is the inner state of isness. This is why so many of our requests seem to be denied. A person writes a check for abundance. They use affirmations, they create vision boards, they write the request on the check over and over again. But as they hold the check, their dominant background feeling is one of desperation. Their body is vibrating with the frequency of, "I am so broke. I am so worried about my bills. I really hope this works." The request on the check says, "abundance." But the signature, the feeling, clearly reads, "lack." The two do not match. The transaction is invalid. The cosmic teller has no choice but to return the check, stamped in invisible ink. Signature not valid, and by law, the universe must then deliver to you more of what you have actually signed for. More lack, more worry. The universe always gives you what you are, not what you want. Contrast this with the conscious creator. She writes a check for deep peace. Then she does the inner work. She closes her eyes, tunes out the world's chaos, and deliberately generates the feeling of peace within her own body. She feels the tension releasing from her shoulders. She feels her breath slow down. She feels a quiet, expansive stillness in her chest. She is not waiting for the world to give her a reason to be peaceful. She is becoming peace itself. She is signing the check with the authentic, vibrational signature of serenity. The teller sees the request for peace and sees the signature of peace. The signatures match. The check is valid. The transaction is instantly approved. The great machinery of the universe then begins to rearrange itself, to shift events, people, and circumstances to bring forth a reality that perfectly mirrors the truth she has established within. The immediate question that arises in the logical mind is, But how can I feel something that is not yet real? Isn't that lying to myself? This question comes from the mistaken belief that feelings are reactions to the external world. You believe you need a reason to feel happy, a reason to feel loved, a reason to feel secure. This is the slave's mentality. The creator's mentality understands a higher truth. Feeling is not a reaction, it is a cause. You are not a thermometer, passively reflecting the temperature of the room. You are the thermostat, setting the temperature with conscious intent. So how do you do it? You do it through the sacred, divine power of your imagination. Your imagination is not a frivolous tool for daydreaming. It is the sensory portal to all creation. It is the workshop where you learn to generate the required feeling. The key is to not just think of your desire, but to think from your desire. This is a crucial distinction. Thinking of it keeps it at a distance, an object that you are observing. Thinking from it means you are occupying it, embodying it. Let us try. If your desire were a tangible, present fact reality right now, what would it feel like? Close your eyes and step into the scene. If it is a loving relationship you desire, don't just see a faceless partner. Feel the warmth of a hand holding yours. Feel the sense of safety, of being deeply seen and understood. What is the ambient feeling that pervades your being? Is it a quiet joy, a profound sense of belonging, a feeling of completeness? Let that feeling swell within you. Generate it deliberately. Wear it. Breathe it in. Let it saturate every cell. Your subconscious mind, the faithful servant who works the machinery of the mint, does not know the difference between a vividly imagined reality and an external one. When you saturate it with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are giving it a new blueprint and the power to build it. You are impressing upon it a new truth about who you are. Do not treat this as a chore. Treat it as a sacred play. Throughout your day, take moments to assume the feeling. When you are walking, walk as the person who has already succeeded. When you are drinking a cup of tea, drink it as the person who is utterly at peace. When you are speaking to someone, speak as the person who is unconditionally loved and respected. You are not faking it. You are activating a parallel reality that already exists as a potential in the quantum field. You are tuning your inner radio to that frequency so that it may become your experienced reality. This is the language of God. It is the dialect of the cosmos. It is a language not of pleading, begging, or even wanting. To constantly feel I want is to sign a check for the experience of more wanting. It is a powerful prayer for the continuation of lack. The language of creation is the language of gratitude and assumption. It is the quiet, confident, internal state of being it now. It is the feeling of thank you, for it is already done. You have quieted the mind. You now understand that your feeling is the signature. So what happens when you confidently write your checks and sign them with the authentic signature of your own generated feeling? The universe, which is nothing more and nothing less than a perfect, flawless mirror, has no choice. It must reflect the truth of your new signature back to you. It must show you the world that you have become. You have quieted the mind. You now understand that your feeling is the potent signature of creation. You have learned to deliberately write your check of intention and sign it with the authentic vibrational ink of the wish fulfilled. And so, the inevitable question arises, what happens next? The answer is both simple and world-altering. The universe, which is nothing more and nothing less than a perfect, flawless mirror, has no choice. It must reflect the truth of your new signature back to you. It must show you the world that you yourself have become. This is not a poetic notion or a comforting spiritual idea. It is a fundamental law of existence, as real and as impersonal as the law of gravity. We are living inside a great cosmic mirror, and the majority of our suffering comes from one single pervasive error in perception. We believe the mirror is the reality. From the moment we are born, Our senses teach us a powerful illusion. They teach us that the world is out there, and we are in here. We perceive a solid, objective reality that is separate from ourselves. Events happen, people act, circumstances arise, and we see ourselves as the small, isolated subject to whom these things are happening. A difficult boss is an external problem. A sudden economic downturn is an external force. A rude stranger on the street is an external event. This belief in a separate, external world is the foundational premise of human consciousness, and it is the root of all feelings of powerlessness, blame, and victimhood. We spend our lives, our precious currency of energy, trying to manipulate the world out there. We try to please the boss, worry about the economy, argue with the stranger. We are constantly polishing, yelling at, negotiating with, or running from our own reflection, never realizing that we are wrestling with a shadow. The Great Awakening occurs when you finally stop reacting to the reflection and turn your attention, for the first time, to the source of the reflection, yourself. To truly grasp this, let us walk together into a different kind of space. Imagine you awaken to find yourself standing in the center of a vast, perfectly circular room. The walls, the floor, the ceiling, every conceivable surface is made of a flawless, seamless mirror. There is no outside. There is only the room, and you at its center. You look to your right, and you see a perfect reflection of yourself. You look to your left, another. You look up, down, behind you an infinite gallery of views, all mirroring your state of being with perfect, instantaneous fidelity. If a gentle smile touches your lips, 1,000 smiling beings greet you with warmth. If you clench your fist in anger, the entire room bristles with 1,000 angry figures, their fists also clenched. If a tear of sorrow traces a path down your cheek, you are suddenly standing in the midst of a universe that is weeping with you. Now, imagine you do not understand the principle of this room. You awaken, and your default state is one of apprehension. You see 1,000 apprehensive reflections, and you believe you are surrounded by threats. Your fear escalates. You shout, "What do you want from me?" And 1,000 hostile voices shout the same question back at you, their tones laced with your own fear. You see an angry reflection and decide you must change it. You walk up to the mirror and plead with it. "Please, just smile, be kind." But the reflection can only show you your own pleading, desperate face. Frustrated, you might try to force it. You might push against the cold, hard glass, trying to physically manipulate the reflection's frown into a smile, a futile act of struggle. In a fit of rage, you might even take a hammer and shatter the mirror before you, only to be confronted with an even more terrifying sight. 1,000 fragmented, distorted, splintered images of your own enraged face, now looking back at you from the shards. This is how we live. We are shouting at our reflections. We are pleading with them, fighting them, trying to shatter them, medicating ourselves so we don't have to see them. The spiritual epiphany, the moment of liberation, is when you finally stop. You cease all interaction with the reflection. You let your arms fall to your sides. You take a breath, and you realize the mirrors have no opinion. They have no agenda. They have no creative power of their own. They are utterly passive and obedient. Their sole function is to reflect. The only point of power in the entire room is the being standing at its center. If you want to see a smile, you must be the source of the smile. If you want to experience love, you must generate the feeling of love first. If you want the world to be at peace, you must first find the unshakable peace within yourself. The moment you change your state of being, the entire universe of mirrors has no choice but to instantly, flawlessly, transform itself to match. This is not just a metaphor. It is a practical diagnostic tool for your life. From this moment forward, I invite you to adopt this practice. Look upon every circumstance in your life the pleasant and the unpleasant, not as a reward or a punishment, but as a neutral, diagnostic reflection. Your life, as it is right now, is a gallery of mirrors, showing you the sum total of your current beliefs and feelings. Look at the mirror of your finances. Does it reflect abundance, ease, and flow? Or does it reflect struggle, scarcity, and anxiety? Whatever you see, do not blame the reflection. Do not blame the economy, your job, or your boss. Stand in front of that mirror and ask the brave question, what belief inside of me is this mirroring? What is my deep core assumption about money, about my own worthiness, about my ability to receive? The reflection is not the problem. It is simply a perfect image of the die you are using in your inner mint. Look at the mirror of your relationships. Do you consistently attract people who are emotionally unavailable, critical, or untrustworthy? Before you blame them, look into the mirror. Ask, in what way am I emotionally unavailable to myself? Where am I most critical of myself? What is the part of me that does not trust my own inner guidance? The people who trigger us the most are often our greatest teachers, for they are the clearest mirrors, showing us the unhealed parts of our own psyche that we have refused to look at. They are simply playing a role you have unconsciously cast them in, a role dictated by the signature of your own feeling. Look at the mirror of your physical health. Does it reflect vitality, energy, and strength? Or does it reflect fatigue and dis-ease? The body is an incredibly sensitive mirror of our inner state. It often reflects beliefs we hold about our own fragility, our own guilt, or the inner conflicts we are carrying. Persistent stress, which is a feeling signature of fear, will inevitably be reflected in the body's systems. The practice, then, is to fundamentally shift your inquiry. You must stop asking, why is this happening to me? This is the question of the victim, the person who believes the mirrors are real and separate. You must begin to ask the revolutionary question of the creator. What in me is this reflecting? This question is the key that unlocks the door of the prison. It brings the locus of control from the chaotic, uncontrollable out there to the one place you have any real power, the in here. A word of caution is necessary here. When you first embrace this principle, the ego will rush in with a powerful distortion. It will try to translate this idea into self-blame. You might look at a past trauma or a current hardship and think, so, this is all my fault. This is a misunderstanding. We must carefully distinguish between the concept of fault and the concept of responsibility. Fault is a low-vibration concept of judgment, shame, and guilt. It is tied to the past and keeps you trapped there. Responsibility is a high-vibration concept of power. It literally means the ability to respond. It is about the present moment. Acknowledging that your inner state contributed to a reflection is not about blaming a past version of yourself who was acting from a place of ignorance or pain. It is about empowering the you that exists right now, with the knowledge that since you are the source of the reflection, you have the power to create a new one, starting this very instant. You are taking back the paintbrush. It is a brave choice to live this way. It is far easier to remain asleep in the hall of mirrors, to live as a victim, to find comfort in blaming the reflections for your unhappiness. It takes immense courage to stand in the center of the room, to look unflinchingly at every single reflection, the beautiful, the painful, the terrifying, and to whisper to each one, "You are mine." This is the beginning of true self-mastery. And as we stand here, taking ownership of our reflections, we begin to notice that some of them are old. They are not just reflecting what we believe today, but are carrying the energetic echo of things that happened long ago. We are seeing the lingering reflections of old wounds, of unforgiven trespasses, of energetic debts that are still being projected from our subconscious onto the screen of the present. Before we can create a truly new reflection, we must first address and clear away these old ones. We must learn to release our old debts. As you stand with courage in the great hall of mirrors that is your life, you begin to take inventory. You see your present-day beliefs and feelings reflected back to you with perfect clarity. But you also begin to notice something else. There are older reflections, images that seem to have been etched into the glass long ago, casting long shadows over the present moment. It is the lingering sting of a betrayal from a friend you no longer speak to. It is the flush of shame from a mistake you made years ago, a failure you have never truly let go of. It is the hollow ache of grief for a loss that feels as fresh today as it did then. You must understand, these are not mere memories. A memory is a neutral file in the cabinet of your mind. These are energetic patterns, active and alive in your system right now. They are old debts on your spiritual ledger. And like any debt, they accrue interest. They are continuously drawing from the creative power and vitality of your present moment. Before you can truly become wealthy in spirit, before you can consciously mint the currency of a joyful new reality, you must first become debt-free. You must learn the profound and liberating art of releasing your old debts. To understand how this works, let us embrace a new metaphor. When a deeply painful event occurs, an injustice, a betrayal, a profound loss, it is as though the universe hands you an energetic loan contract. The principal amount on this loan is the initial shock and pain of the event itself. It is a very real, energetic wound. Now, at that moment, you have a choice. You can process the emotion, learn the lesson, and allow the energy to move through and out of your system. Or, you can do what most of us are taught to do. You can resist it. You can replay the event over and over in your mind. You can build a story around it, the story of what they did to me, or the terrible thing I did. You can nurture the feelings of resentment, anger, guilt, or shame, watering them daily with your attention. In doing so, you unconsciously pick up the pen and sign the loan contract. You agree to its terms. You agree to take on this debt as part of your identity. And what are the terms of this insidious contract? The interest payments. The contract stipulates that you must make regular payments on this loan, not with money, but with something far more valuable. Your own life force. Every time you indulge the angry memory of the person who wronged you, you are making an interest payment. Every time you feel that familiar pang of shame over your past failure, you are making an interest payment. Every time you allow the story of your victimhood to dominate your inner world, you are handing over your precious, present moment creative energy to the ghosts of the past. The tragic irony is that these payments do nothing to reduce the principal of the loan. The debt never gets smaller. You can spend 30 years making daily payments of anger, and the original wound will still be there, festering underneath, continuously demanding more of your vitality. This debt does not remain contained. It compounds, it metastasizes. The resentment you hold for one person who betrayed you begins to poison your perception of new people, making you cynical and defensive. You start projecting the reflection of that old mirror onto every new face you meet. The shame from one business failure makes you timid and hesitant in the face of new, brilliant opportunities. The weight of this energetic debt is immense. It is the reason you feel tired for no reason. It is the reason you cannot seem to get ahead, no matter how hard you try. You are living a life that is spiritually and energetically mortgaged to the hilt. A significant portion of your income, your daily energies, going straight to servicing old debt, leaving you with very little capital to invest in building the future you desire. Liberation comes from the profound realization that you are the only one who can cancel these contracts. This cancellation process is known by another name, forgiveness. Here we must pause and dismantle the greatest misconception that exists about this word. We have been taught that forgiveness is a noble, altruistic gift that we bestow upon the person who wronged us. We believe it is about condoning their behavior, letting them off the hook, or pretending that what happened was okay, and because of this, we resist it. Our ego cries out, "They don't deserve my forgiveness." And the ego is absolutely right. They probably don't. But forgiveness has nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with them. The other person may be 1,000 miles away. They may be gone from this world. They may not even remember what happened. Holding on to resentment is like drinking a cup of poison yourself and then waiting for the other person to die. It is a form of self-mutilation. The only person held captive in the prison of your unforgiveness is you. You are both the prisoner and the jailer. Therefore, forgiveness is not a holy gift to another. It is the ultimate act of pragmatism and self-love. It is the most profoundly selfish act you can engage in. When you forgive, you are looking at an old, painful contract and declaring with absolute authority, "I am no longer willing to sacrifice my present moment peace for something that is already over. I am no longer willing to pour my creative power into this black hole. My freedom today is more important than my grievance from yesterday. I am canceling this debt not because you deserve it, but because I deserve to be free." This is the key. You are taking your power back. And this applies most powerfully to the debts we hold against ourselves. For many of us, the harshest creditor we have is the face we see in the mirror each morning. We punish ourselves endlessly for past mistakes, for words we wish we could take back, for opportunities we missed. We hold ourselves to a standard of perfection that we would never demand of anyone else. The process of self-forgiveness is identical. It is looking at the younger, more ignorant, more wounded version of yourself who made that mistake and extending a hand of grace. It is the decision that your future well-being is more important than your past imperfection. You cancel the debt. You set yourself free. Let us now move from theory to practice. I will guide you through a simple, internal ceremony of release. Find a place within yourself where you feel safe and centered. Take a deep breath and feel yourself grounded in the present moment, in the here and now. You are safe and you are in complete control. Now, I want you to gently allow a person or a situation or a version of yourself that you have not fully forgiven to come to mind. See them standing before you in the safe theater of your imagination. Do not engage them in conversation. Simply allow them to be there. Now, instead of replaying the story of what happened, I want you to simply acknowledge the feeling of the original wound. Where does it live in your body? Is it a tightness in your chest? A pit in your stomach? A heat in your face? Without judgment, just acknowledge this pure, energetic signature of the pain. See it perhaps as a dark, heavy cord of energy connecting you to this person or this memory. This cord is the loan contract. It is what has been draining your energy. Now, looking at this person and feeling the cord that connects you, I want you to speak from your heart, silently within your mind or quietly aloud. You can use your own words, but they might sound something like this. I see the pain that was created here. I acknowledge it fully, and I honor the part of me that it hurt. But the event is over. The contract is old. The debt has been paid many times over with my own peace. And so today, in the name of my own freedom, and for the sake of my own soul, I declare this contract to be null and void. I take back all of my energy that has been tied up in this story. I release you from the prison of my resentment. I forgive you. As you say these words, I want you to vividly visualize that dark, heavy cord of energy dissolving. See it turning to dust. See it dematerializing into pure light. Feel the end of that cord that was attached to you snapping back into your own body, returning a wave of your own life force to your heart. Feel the lightness, the spaciousness that is created where the heavy debt once was. You may need to do this more than once. Be patient and gentle with yourself. To complete the ceremony, and this is a crucial final step, do your best to offer a blessing. not because they have earned it, but because it is the final act that severs the tie. It cleanses any residual energetic stickiness. Simply say, "I wish you peace on your journey." Feel that sentiment. It means you no longer need anything from them, not even an apology. You are truly free. Now, practice this same ceremony with yourself. See the younger you who made the mistake. Feel the pain. And then, with all the compassion you can muster, cancel the debt and set yourself free. Each time you perform this sacred act, you are doing more than just letting go of a memory. You are reclaiming vast amounts of your own creative capital. You are cleaning the mirrors of your reality from the smudges of the past. The slate is being wiped clean. With this newfound energy, this freedom from the crushing weight of old debts, you are now solvent. You have a surplus. You are ready to invest in the present. But even with a clean slate, new challenges will arise. Difficult emotions will surface in the here and now. So what do we do with them? This brings us to our next great work, the sacred art of emotional alchemy. How do we learn to turn the lead of today's fear into the pure gold of tomorrow's power? Having done the sacred work of clearing your energetic ledger, you now stand on fresh ground. The heavy chains of old resentments and past regrets have been dissolved. For the first time, perhaps in a very long time, the majority of your creative currency is available to you in the present moment. You are solvent. You are free. But freedom does not mean an absence of challenges. Life, in its infinite creativity, will continue to present you with new circumstances. And with these circumstances, new waves of emotion will inevitably arise. A surge of anger in traffic, a pang of fear before a presentation, a wave of sadness that seems to come from nowhere. Our lifelong conditioning immediately kicks in. We label these emotions. We sort them into two boxes, the good ones, like joy, love, and excitement, and the bad ones, like fear, anger, grief, and jealousy. Our entire life becomes a frantic dance of chasing the good box and running from, denying, or fighting the bad one. This is the fundamental error that keeps humanity in a state of spiritual infancy. Today, we learn the perspective of the alchemist. And the first rule of alchemy is this: there are no bad emotions, there is only energy. Some energy is coherent, harmonious, and feels pleasant to our nervous system. And some energy is raw, chaotic, potent, and uncomfortable. The alchemist's sacred task is not to eliminate this raw, uncomfortable energy, but to learn the divine art of transmuting it. Welcome to the inner workshop, where we learn to turn the lead of fear into the pure gold of power. Let us first examine the folly of our usual strategy: repression. When the energy of anger or fear arises, what do? We push it down. We pretend it isn't there. We distract ourselves with food, with entertainment, with work, with anything to avoid feeling that raw power. This act of repression is like trying to hold a large beach ball underwater. It requires immense and constant effort. Your muscles are tense, your focus is strained, all your energy is dedicated to keeping this one thing submerged and out of sight. And the moment your concentration wavers, the moment you are caught off guard, that repressed energy shoots to the surface with even greater and more explosive force than it had initially, often at the most inappropriate time, causing you to lash out at a loved one or break down in public. Repressed energy does not disappear. It is a fundamental law of the universe that energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. When you refuse to consciously feel an emotion, that energy goes into hiding in the body. It becomes the chronic tension in your shoulders, the persistent knot in your stomach, the unexplained headaches, the nagging fatigue. It becomes the shadow smith in your inner mint, the bitter, resentful craftsman who works in the dark, unconsciously forging coins of anxiety, cynicism, and dis-ease, which are then reflected back to you in the mirror of your life. This strategy of repression has made us terrified of our own inner landscapes. It has turned us into fearful curators of a carefully managed surface life, while a vast, powerful, and untamed wilderness rages just beneath the floorboards. To truly become a master of your reality, you must be willing to become the master of this inner wilderness. Let us explore a new metaphor. Imagine that your conscious life, your personality, your goals, your daily routinesis, a house that you have carefully built. It is the life you present to the world. Now, imagine that deep beneath the foundation of this house flows a powerful, wild, subterranean river. This river is your primal emotional energy. It is your shadow self. It contains all the energies you have deemed unacceptable, your untamed rage, your deepest fears, your profoundest grief, your most unbound passions. The foolish homeowner is aware of this river. On quiet nights, he can hear its distant, ominous rumble. He feels a strange dampness seeping up through the floorboards of his cellar, a pervasive sense of anxiety he cannot explain. His strategy is one of avoidance and denial. He lays down thicker carpets to muffle the sound. He applies a fresh coat of paint to the damp spots on the wall. He furnishes the upstairs rooms with more and more distractions, hoping that if he makes the surface of his life shiny enough, the problem in the foundation will simply go away. But all the while, the untamed river flows on, silently, relentlessly, eroding the very foundation of his house, making it unstable, cracked, and vulnerable to collapse. This is the path of repression. It is a life of quiet desperation. The alchemist homeowner, however, chooses a different path. She too hears the rumble of the river beneath her house, but instead of fear, she feels a surge of awe. She recognizes the river not as a threat, but as a source of immense, raw, untapped power. She understands that the same energy that could destroy her house, if properly channeled, could power it for a lifetime. And so, she makes a courageous choice. She decides to dig. She lights a lantern and descends into the dark, damp cellar of her own psyche, the place she has been taught to fear and avoid. She does not go down there with the arrogant intention of damming the river or stopping its flow. She knows that would be impossible and foolish. Instead, she goes as a student. She sits by its banks and studies its currents. She respects its wild power. And then she begins the great work. She builds a great water wheel. She carefully, skillfully, digs a channel that directs a portion of the river's powerful flow into this wheel. And as the wild, chaotic energy of the river turns the wheel, it is transformed. It becomes electricity. It becomes light that illuminates every room in her house. It becomes warmth that makes her home a place of comfort and sanctuary. She has taken the very thing she was taught to fear, the source of her greatest potential weakness, and through courage, wisdom, and skill, she has transformed it into the source of her greatest and most reliable strength. This is the art of emotional alchemy. This is not an abstract theory. It is a practical skill that you can learn. I will guide you through the alchemical process, step by step. Let us use the energy of fear as our lead, our raw material. The next time you feel that familiar, cold pang of fear, arise fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, I invite you to perform this sacred experiment. The first step is welcome the messenger. The moment you feel the fear, your lifelong habit will be to tense up, to resist, to push it away. Your first conscious alchemical act is to do the opposite. Relax your body, unclench your jaw, and say to the feeling, internally, I see you are here. I feel your presence. Welcome. This is a revolutionary act. You are meeting the energy with conscious acceptance, not with unconscious resistance. You are inviting the messenger into your house instead of trying to lock the door. The second step is locate the energy and drop the story. Fear is not a story. Fear is a physical sensation. The story is, I'm afraid because my boss was angry and I might lose my job. That is the mind's interpretation. I want you to let go of the story for a moment and become a curious scientist of your own inner experience. Where does this energy of fear actually live in your body? Is it a cold knot in your stomach? Is it a constricting band around your chest? Is it a buzzing, electric feeling in your hands and feet? A tightness in your throat? Close your eyes and find its precise location and texture. Be with the pure physical sensation of the energy without the mental narrative that usually accompanies it. The third step is breathe into it. This is the heart of the transmutation. You are now going to take your most powerful tool, your conscious breath, the fire of your awareness, and direct it right into the center of that physical sensation. As you breathe in, imagine you are sending a stream of warm, liquid, golden light directly into the knot of fear. Do not do this with the intention of forcing it to leave. Do this with the intention of nourishing it, of comforting it. Imagine your breath is surrounding this tense, cold energy with unconditional love and acceptance. You are bringing the light of your own consciousness into the dark cellar. You are warming the frozen energy with your presence. The fourth step is ask for the message. As you hold this energy in a compassionate embrace, as you breathe into it, you then ask it a simple, powerful question. You ask the feeling itself, what are you here to teach me? What gift of wisdom do you hold for me? You must understand that these raw energies are messengers from your deeper self. They are not your enemies, they are your allies in disguise. Fear is often a messenger that points directly to what you value most. The fear of public speaking is often the flip side of a deep desire to share your message with the world. The fear of intimacy is the shadow of a profound longing for deep connection. Listen for the answer. It may not come in words. It may come as a sudden insight, a new perspective, a feeling of clarity, a release of tension. This insight, this clarity, is the gold. You have successfully extracted the precious metal from the raw ore. The final step is gratitude. You have welcomed the messenger, received its gift, and now you must let it go. Thank the energy. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the message. I have received it. You are now free to go on your way. This completes the cycle with honor. You have not repressed the energy, nor have you been consumed by it. You have engaged it with consciousness, courage, and compassion. You have become an alchemist. Practice this with every difficult emotion. Meet anger, locate it in your body, breathe into it, and ask it what boundary has been crossed. Meet sadness, hold it with compassion, and ask it what needs to be mourned and released. You are not a victim of your feelings. You are their master, their student, and their transformer. Every wave of difficult emotion is no longer a crisis to be endured. It is raw material delivered to your workshop, a fresh opportunity to forge more gold, more wisdom, and more power. As we become true masters of our inner energy, we realize that we shape this energy not just with the raw power of feeling, but with the specific tools we use to define and direct it. And the most powerful of these tools is the word, the sacred architecture of reality itself. Having descended into the deep cellar of the psyche and transformed the raw, chaotic power of the river into usable energy, the alchemist returns to the main floor of his workshop. He now possesses the pure gold of transmuted feeling, the raw electricity needed for the great work. But power, in itself, is formless. Energy, on its own, is directionless. It must be given instructions. It must be channeled into a structure. And the primary tool for building the structure of your reality is the word. We have been taught that words are merely descriptive labels. We believe they are hollow symbols we use to point at a reality that already exists. This is a profound and limiting misunderstanding. Words are not descriptive. They are creative. They are divine, energetic commands. They are the precise architectural blueprints handed to the master builder of the universe. Every word you speak, and more importantly, every word you think, is a line being drawn, a measurement being taken, a command being issued for the construction of your life. Ancient traditions understood this. The mystics spoke of the Logos, the creative word that was with God and was God. The sacred texts say the world began not with a silent thought, but with a divine utterance. Let there be light. Your words are a direct inheritance of this same creative power. You are, in every moment, speaking your world into being. Let us fully embrace this metaphor of the architect. Imagine the field of infinite potential. The quantum soup of all possibility is a vast, empty plot of land. It is fertile, ready, and waiting patiently for instructions. You are the master architect of the structure that will be built on this land. You hold the pen, you command the design, and your words, your internal monologue, and your spoken declarations are the blueprints. These blueprints are then handed over to the construction crew. This crew is your subconscious mind, which is inseparably linked to the universal law of creation. And this crew has one defining characteristic. It is ruthlessly, flawlessly, and impersonally literal. It does not judge your design. It does not offer suggestions for improvement. It will never say, "Architect, this is a very poor design for a house. The foundation is weak, the walls are crooked. Are you sure you want us to build this?" It has no capacity for such judgment. Its only function is to take the blueprint you provide and build it exactly as it is drawn, with no questions asked. Now, consider the way most human beings practice architecture. Our minds are a chaotic drafting room. Our inner speech is sloppy, contradictory, and undisciplined. We draw a strong, straight line for a foundation, declaring, "I am going to be successful in this venture." And then, a moment later, we take the eraser of doubt and smudge the line, whispering, "But what if I fail? I'm not sure I have what it takes." We design a beautiful light-filled room called inner peace, but then we litter the blueprint with frantic notes in the margins. Worry about this deadline. Replay that argument. Stress about that future event. We hand the builder a contradictory, confusing, and structurally unsound plan. And the builder, being utterly obedient, does its best to construct what it sees. It builds a foundation that is strong in some places and crumbling in others. It erects a wall only to find instructions to build a second, conflicting wall right next to it. The result is the reality most people experience, a life that is a bizarre, frustrating mix of strength and weakness, success and failure, moments of clarity followed by long periods of confusion. It is not a palace, and it is not a shack. It is a chaotic, half-finished construction site. And then we stand back, look at the mess, and blame the builder, the materials, or the weather, never realizing we are the sole author of the flawed design. To become a conscious architect, you must first become aware of the anatomy of destructive language. You must recognize the words and phrases that are creating faulty blueprints. The two most powerful creative words in the English language, and perhaps in any language, are "I am." These words are a direct statement of being. They are not a hope or a wish. They are a declaration of fact to the universe. Whatever follows "I am" is a command to your subconscious mind to configure reality to match the statement. Now, listen to how we casually use these divine words for self-destruction. I am so tired. I am always sick. I am broke. I am just not good with people. I am so clumsy. Each of these statements is a sacred prayer, a powerful affirmation that you are offering up, asking reality to deliver that exact experience to you. And the universe, the obedient builder, says yes, and diligently gets to work building the experience of fatigue, sickness, and lack that you have decreed. Consider the phrase, "I can't." This is the sound of a prison door slamming shut. It is not a statement of fact. It is a creative declaration. When you say, "I can't afford that," you are issuing a command that makes it true. You are drawing a thick, impenetrable wall on your blueprint between you and the thing you desire. A conscious architect never says, "I can't." They might say, "I am choosing to allocate my resources differently right now," which keeps the power in their hands. Or even more powerfully, they might ask, "How can I afford that?" which opens a door and commands the mind to seek solutions. Likewise, examine the vibrational weakness of words like hope, wish, and try. This is the language of doubt. When you say, "I hope I get the job," you are sending a powerful signal to the universe that you do not believe you have it. The feeling behind hope is one of uncertainty. You are signing your check with the signature of doubt. To wish is to remain a child, passively wanting. To try is to presuppose the high probability of failure. The phrase, "I will try," is a blueprint not for achievement, but for mediocre effort. Even the words you speak about others are bricks in your own house. When you engage in gossip or complaint, you are dipping your own being into that vibrational frequency. To complain about your government is a prayer for more things to complain about. To speak of another's failings is to instruct the universe to look for failure, a habit that it will then apply to your own life. You cannot build a beautiful palace for yourself with bricks made of mud you are slinging at others. So, how do we practice sacred architecture? We begin by choosing our words with the same care and precision an architect uses when drawing the final plans for a skyscraper. First, you must learn to speak in the present tense. The subconscious mind is the builder, and it lives only in the eternal now. It has no concept of the future. The statement, "I will be happy one day," is a command to keep happiness forever in the future. The blueprint says, "Happiness future," and so the builder ensures it always stays there, just out of reach. The master architect declares, "I am happy, I am abundant, I am at peace." This is a command to construct that reality now. You are claiming your desire as a present fact reality, giving the builder a clear, immediate instruction. Second, you must frame your decrees in the positive. The subconscious mind struggles to process negatives. It focuses on the primary image in the command. If you say, "I don't want to be sick," the builder hears sick and sets to work building what it heard. It's like telling a taxi driver, "Don't take me to the airport." He still doesn't know where to go. You must give it a clear, positive destination. Instead of, "I don't want to feel anxious," the powerful decree is, "I am serene and centered." Instead of, "I don't want to struggle," it is, "I create with ease and flow." Always define what you do want, not what you wish to avoid. Third, you must upgrade your vocabulary from passive wishing to active creation. Make a conscious decision to replace "I hope" with "I know." Replace "I wish" with "I choose." Replace "I'll try" with "I am doing." Replace "I can't" with "I am capable." This is not a game of semantic tricks. Each of these phrases carries a profoundly different energetic signature. One is the signature of a victim, the other is the signature of a creator. Finally, understand the power of sacred silence. Sometimes the most powerful architectural choice is to leave a space empty. If you find yourself in a spiral of negative thinking, if you cannot find the will to speak with creative power, it is far better to be silent. Silence stops the drawing of faulty blueprints. It gives the builder a rest. It allows the existing well-drawn plans to be constructed without the interference of your contradictory and chaotic scribbles. Silence is the pause that allows clarity to emerge. Your words are not dead symbols on a page. They are not fleeting sounds that disappear into the air. They are living, vibrating, structural forces. They are the girders and beams of your experienced reality. With every sentence you think, with every word you speak, You are either reinforcing the prison of your current circumstances, or you are drawing the blueprint for the palace of your dreams. You are the architect. The building site is ready. The construction crew is waiting for its orders. The question is not whether you are building, but only this: what kind of world are you speaking into being right now? You have the feeling, you have the architecture, but where must the architect direct his gaze to ensure the work gets done? This requires a new level of inner discipline, the discipline of the gaze. We have journeyed far. We have cleared the debts of the past. We have learned the alchemy of our present feelings, and we now hold in our hands the sacred architectural blueprints drawn with the living ink of our words. The designs are clear, the intention is set, but a blueprint, no matter how perfect, is useless if the construction crew is sent to the wrong building site, or if their resources are scattered across a dozen different projects. We have the what. We now need to master the where. There is one final piece to the active phase of creation, the direction of energy. And the tool for this direction is your most precious, most powerful, and most sought-after possession. It is your attention. You must understand this as a fundamental law, as immutable as any law of physics. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Your attention is the conduit. It is the channel through which the creative currency of the universe is spent. It is the lens that focuses the diffuse, ambient light of consciousness into a coherent laser beam of manifestation. To master your life, you must first master the discipline of your gaze. Imagine your consciousness is a vast and fertile garden. This garden contains the seeds of every possibility. There are the seeds for the beautiful roses of love, the strong oak trees of abundance, the fragrant herbs of healing, and the vibrant flowers of joy. But there are also, inevitably, the seeds for the weeds of fear, the thorny bushes of resentment, and the barren, rocky patches of self-doubt. All seeds are present. Now, imagine you possess one single powerful water hose. The water flowing through this hose is your daily allotment of life force, your creative energy, and the nozzle of that hose, the very thing that directs this life-giving stream, is your conscious attention. The unconscious gardener stands in the middle of this garden, holding the hose loosely. The nozzle whips around wildly, without discipline or intent. It sprays for a moment on the rosebush of a new relationship, giving it a fleeting taste of life. Then it is distracted by a large, ugly weed of worry about the future, and it swings around to drench that weed, causing it to grow thick and strong. It might splash some water on the oak tree of a career goal, but then it gets caught on the thorny bush of an old grievance, and it spends 20 minutes flooding that bush with the potent water of focused anger. At the end of the day, the unconscious gardener looks around at his life and feels a sense of profound frustration. Why is his garden such a chaotic mess? Why are the weeds of fear and lack so lush and overgrown, while the flowers of his dreams are so anemic, pale, and struggling to survive? The answer is simple. He has been watering the weeds. The conscious gardener, the alchemist of reality, understands the law. He holds the hose of his attention with a firm, deliberate, two-handed grip. He makes a conscious choice. He decides which plants he wishes to cultivate. He then turns his back, deliberately and without regret, on the garden of lack. He does not fight the weeds. He does not waste his energy trying to pull them up. He knows a far more effective secret. The weeds that are deprived of the water of his attention will, inevitably, wither and die on their own. He then walks with purpose to the garden of his desires. He stands before the tiny, struggling seed of his great ambition, and he holds the nozzle of his attention there, watering it with focus, with belief, with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Day after day, he returns and waters this same seed. He waters the seed of peace with his daily meditation. He waters the seed of health by focusing his attention on feelings of vitality and well-being. He is a disciplined creator, He knows, with an unshakable certainty, that whatever he waters must grow. It is the law. To practice this in our world is one of the greatest challenges we face, for we live in an age that is defined by a total war against our attention. You must see the world for what it has become, an attention economy. Every notification that dings on your phone, every sensational breaking news alert, every endless, algorithmically curated social media feed, every advertisement, they are all designed with a single, ruthless purpose: to hijack your hose, to steal your creative water, and direct it towards their own ends. They want you to water the weed of fear, because a fearful populace is easy to control. They want you to water the weed of outrage, because outrage generates clicks and ad revenue. They want you to water the weed of not enoughness, because insecure people are the world's best consumers. This constant external assault results in a scattered mind, a fragmented will, and a dissipated life force. We are passively allowing the world to dictate where our creative energy flows. We are letting strangers water the weeds in our own sacred garden, and we are paying the price with the currency of our lives. The way to reclaim your power is to engage in a practice we will call the mental diet. This concept, made popular by the great mystic Neville Goddard, is the epitome of disciplined creation. For a set period of time, perhaps you start with 1 hour, then a whole day, then a week. You make a sacred commitment to yourself. You will consciously refuse to give your attention to any thought, feeling, conversation, or activity that is not in alignment with the person you desire to be and the reality you have chosen to create. First, you must define the menu. What is the nourishing food you will allow your mind to consume? This is your desired state, embodied. If you are creating a reality of peace, your mental menu consists only of thoughts of serenity, ease, forgiveness, and gratitude. If you are creating a reality of success, your menu is thoughts of competence, confidence, achievement, and the satisfaction of a job well done. You must be clear on what you will be feeding your consciousness. Second, you must identify the poison, the junk food you will eliminate. This is any thought pattern that contradicts your aim. It is worrying about the future. It is replaying past hurts. It is complaining about your current circumstances. It is indulging in criticism or gossip. It is mindlessly consuming media that makes you feel fearful, angry, or inadequate. This is the junk food that makes your consciousness weak, sick, and ineffective. The mental diet is not about the naive belief that you will never have a negative thought. They will arise. The true practice lies in what you do in the moment of choice. The moment you become aware that your attention has drifted, that you are consuming junk food, that you are watering a weed, the old, unconscious habit is to continue feeding on it, to spiral down into the worry or the anger. The discipline of the conscious creator is to notice it without judgment. Ah, there is the pattern of worry, and then, calmly, firmly, and immediately, to turn your gaze away. You pick up your hose and you point it back at the flower you have chosen to cultivate. Let us walk through a practical example. You are on a mental diet for abundance. You open your mail and find an unexpected bill. The weed of fear and lack immediately sprouts in your garden. The old habit would be to stare at the bill, to feel your stomach clench, to calculate all the ways you won't be able to pay it, to call a friend and complain about it. You would be drowning that weed in a flood of your most potent creative energy. The conscious gardener, on this new diet, sees the bill. He feels the initial pang of the old fear pattern. He acknowledges it. I see you, old thought of lack. And then he makes a choice. He deliberately withdraws his attention from the bill and the feeling of fear. He refuses to water it. Instead, he immediately directs his gaze to his chosen reality. He might close his eyes and evoke the feeling of security and relief. He might look around his home and begin to list all the things he is grateful for, watering the flower of gratitude. He might repeat his chosen affirmation, "I am the source of my own supply. All my needs are met with grace and ease." He is actively and deliberately watering the garden he wants to see grow. This is a discipline. It requires the same dedication as training for an athletic event. In the beginning, your muscle of focus will be weak. You may find you can only hold your attention for a few seconds before it snaps back to the familiar weeds. Do not be discouraged. Each time you consciously redirect your gaze, you are making that muscle stronger. Each repetition is a victory. Your attention is not a passive spotlight. It is an active, creative force. A scattered light from a dim bulb can barely illuminate a room, but when that same light is focused into a laser, it can cut through steel. Your disciplined attention is that laser. It is the force that takes the raw energy you have transmuted and the architectural plans you have drawn, and it focuses them into a coherent beam that impresses itself upon the field of reality. A scattered mind creates a scattered life. A focused mind creates a focused life. And as you master this discipline, as you pour your energy only into what you wish to grow, a new question begins to arise. You start to examine the very nature of the things you are watering. You begin to question the essence of desire itself. Is desire a painful ache of lack, or is it something else entirely? Is it a sacred signal from the universe itself? You have arrived at a place of immense power. You have disciplined your gaze. You have learned to hold the hose of your attention with a steady hand, consciously choosing to water the garden of your desires while allowing the weeds of fear and lack to wither from neglect. You are focusing your creative energy with precision and intent. And yet, for many who reach this stage, a subtle and profound conflict arises. It is the paradox of desire itself. The very act of focusing on what you want can often amplify the painful feeling of not having it. The gap between your present reality and your desired reality can feel like a chasm of lack. Desire, which should be the fuel for creation, becomes a source of constant, low-grade suffering. It is an ache of impatience, a frustration with the present, a feeling that your happiness is being held hostage, waiting for some future event to occur. This pain is the last great trap of the creative mind. It is the final illusion we must dismantle to move from being a hopeful creator to a joyful one. We must now redefine the very nature of desire. Our suffering around desire stems from a single, deeply ingrained misunderstanding. We have been conditioned to believe that desire is a signal of lack. We think that desire is a message from the universe, that we are empty, incomplete, or deficient in some way. From this perspective, the thought "I desire more abundance" is interpreted as "I am currently not abundant, I am poor." The thought "I desire a loving partnership" is translated to "I am unloved and alone." This viewpoint automatically places you in a position of begging. You become the spiritual pauper, hands outstretched, pleading with a rich external universe to grant you the things you do not possess. This posture of lack is a powerful prayer in itself. When you feel the ache of not having, you are signing your reality check with the clear, unambiguous signature of not having. And the universe, the perfect mirror, must dutifully reflect back to you a reality where you continue to not have. This is the agonizing loop that so many conscious creators find themselves in. The more they want something, the more they affirm its absence, and the further away it seems. To break this cycle, we must perform a radical act of spiritual alchemy. We must learn to see desire not as an empty hole, but as a seed that is already full. Let us abandon the old model of lack and embrace a new and liberating truth. A true desire is not a declaration of your emptiness. It is a sacred signal. It is life itself, the infinite intelligence of the cosmos, tapping you on the shoulder from within. It is a new potential, a new aspect of the divine, asking to be born into the world through you. You are the soil. You are the portal through which the unmanifested becomes manifest. Desire is not a sign that you are lacking something. It is a sign that you are pregnant with something. To understand this, hold in your mind the image of a single, humble acorn. If you were to hold this acorn in your palm, would you describe it as being in a state of lacking an oak tree? Of course not. That would be absurd. The acorn is not the absence of the oak tree. It is the promise of the oak tree. It is the entire, magnificent, sprawling oak tree existing in a compressed, potentialized, and perfect form. Within that tiny shell, the complete intelligence, the sacred blueprint of the mighty oak, is already present. It lacks nothing. It knows exactly how to gather nutrients from the soil, how to reach for the sun, how to unfurl its leaves and strengthen its trunk. Its destiny is already encoded within its being. Now, what is your role as the gardener? Your job is not to go out and find a fully grown oak tree and somehow try to force it into the acorn. That would be a fool's errand. Your only job is to recognize the magnificent potential held within the seed, and then to provide the fertile conditions for that potential to express itself. You provide the rich soil of your belief. You provide the life-giving water of your focused attention. You provide the warmth and sunlight of your love and your joyful expectation. And then you step back and allow the innate intelligence within the seed to do its work. You trust the process. Every true and authentic desire that arises in the garden of your heart is an acorn. That persistent desire you have for vibrant health is not a sign that you are sick. It is the seed of perfect health, already whole and complete within your energetic field, asking to be watered. That deep longing you feel for creative expression is not a sign that you are uncreative. It is the seed of a masterpiece, a novel, a song, a business, already fully formed in potential, asking for the soil of your commitment so it can take root. That desire for profound, unconditional love is not a sign that you are unlovable. It is the sacred seed of divine love itself, planted within you, asking you to cultivate it from within so that it may be mirrored without. When you shift your perspective in this way, everything changes. Desire is no longer a painful burden. It is a thrilling, sacred invitation. You are no longer a beggar asking for a handout. You are a master gardener tending to the sacred seeds that God has planted within you. Here, it is necessary to draw a distinction, for not all wants are sacred signals. We must learn to discern a true desire, which is a seed from the soul, from an egoic wanting, which is a weed of the mind. An egoic wanting almost always arises from a place of comparison, insecurity, or a need for external validation. It is the voice that says, I want that new car because it will impress people. I want that promotion because it will prove my worth to my family. I want to look a certain way so that I will be seen as better than others. Egoic wants feel contractive. They feel anxious, needy, and grasping. They are rooted in the old, false belief of I am not enough, and they seek to fill that imagined hole with external things. They are heavy. A sacred desire feels entirely different. It arises from a deeper, quieter place within. It feels like a persistent, gentle pull toward a higher version of yourself. It feels expansive. The thought of it brings a sense of excitement, a spark of joy, even if it is also accompanied by a healthy dose of fear at the magnitude of it. Sacred desires are almost always connected to growth, to creativity, to learning, to service, and to love. A sacred desire feels less like, I need to go out and get that, and more like, there is something inside of me that needs to be let out. It is life seeking fuller, grander expression as you. To tell the difference, perform a feeling test. Sit with the thought of your desire. Check in with your body. Does it make you feel tight, anxious, and needy? It is likely an egoic want. Does it make you feel expansive, excited, a little nervous but ultimately joyful and alive. You are likely holding a sacred seed. This new understanding revolutionizes your creative practice. You no longer need to strain and struggle. You are not trying to make anything happen. You are simply allowing something that is already present in potential to unfold. Your work is not to force the seed to sprout, but to become the most fertile and welcoming garden you can be. You do this by holding the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you feel the joy of your desire as if it were already here, you are creating the perfect, nutrient-rich soil. When you focus your loving attention upon it, you are watering it. When you speak of it with words of certainty and gratitude, you are giving it sunlight. You become a joyful co-creator with the universe, a partner in the beautiful, inevitable process of unfolding. Desire is no longer a problem to be solved. It is not a painful void to be filled. It is a promise. It is the whisper of your future self, reminding you of the magnificence you are here to express. It is the thrill of knowing that a new, beautiful aspect of life is ready to be born into the world, and that it has chosen you, in all your perfection, to be its sacred vessel. When you truly grasp this, the desperate, anxious need for your desire to manifest in the future begins to dissolve. You realize that the joy is not just in the destination, but in the sacred process of tending to the seed. And you understand that the only point of power, the only place where the soil can be enriched and the seed can be watered, is not in the past or the future, but in the infinite, creative power of the eternal now. When you begin to truly understand desire not as a painful lack, but as a sacred seed of potential already planted within you, a profound shift occurs. The frantic, anxious energy of wanting begins to dissolve. The psychological distance between where you are and where you want to be collapses. Why? Because you realize the seed is not a future event. The seed is a present reality. Its potential is here, now. The oak tree is fully present inside the acorn, now. And the only time you can ever tend to that seed, the only time you can provide the soil of belief and the water of attention is now. This realization is the gateway. It is the key that unlocks the door to the only place where true power has ever existed. It is the entrance into the holy sanctuary of the eternal now. Our final and most formidable obstacle is our deep, hypnotic, and tragic addiction to something that does not exist: psychological time. I want you to entertain a truth so simple, so radical, that the mind will immediately try to argue against it. The past does not exist. It is not happening anywhere. It exists only as a collection of memory traces, of fading thought forms within your own consciousness. It is a ghost. The future does not exist. It has no reality. It is a projection, a fantasy, a series of thoughts about a potential that has not yet been born. It is a phantom. The past and the future are mental constructs. The only thing that has ever been real, the only place you have ever truly lived, is this timeless, formless, ever-present moment, the now. This is the sole point of creative power. To live in the past is to give your life force to ghosts. To live in the future is to pour your energy into phantoms. To awaken is to withdraw your precious currency of attention from these phantom dimensions and invest it completely in the vibrant, living reality of this moment. We must make a crucial distinction between two kinds of time. There is clock time. Clock time is a practical tool we use to organize our lives in the world of form. We use it to set appointments, to bake a cake, to schedule a flight. It is functional, necessary, and has its place. But then there is psychological time. Psychological time is the source of nearly all human suffering. It is the mind's compulsive and addictive need to inhabit the non-existent past and the non-existent future. It is a disease of the consciousness. To live in the past is to reside in the land of regret and resentment. It is to constantly replay old conversations, to re-feel old wounds, to chew on the bitter cud of past grievances. When you are lost in the past, you are interacting with ghosts in the theater of your mind. The events are not happening now, but you are generating the emotional signature of them now. And so the universe, the great mirror, reflects back to you more circumstances that will give you reason to feel those same old feelings. You are watering a garden of dead plants and wondering why your life is not filled with new growth. To live in the future is to reside in the land of anxiety and seeking. It is to constantly project your mind forward, trying to control and manage events that have not occurred and may never occur. It is a state of perpetual what if. But even more insidiously, the future is the place where we project our salvation. This is the great trap of the ego. I will be happy when I get the promotion, when I find the perfect partner, when I lose the weight, when I pay off the mortgage, when I retire. This when is a poison. It is a declaration that the present moment is not enough. It is just a stepping stone, a means to an end, something to be endured on the way to a future moment of fulfillment. But that future moment never arrives, because when it does, it is no longer the future. It is just another now, which the mind immediately dismisses in favor of the next future moment. This is how we miss our entire lives. We spend our existence waiting to live, never realizing that the waiting itself is what prevents us from living. To truly understand this, let us use our final metaphor. Imagine that linear time is like an immense reel of film. The frames that have already gone by, spooling onto the floor, are the past. The frames still coiled up, waiting to be shown, are the future. Most of us live our lives by either obsessively studying the faded images on the floor or anxiously trying to get a sneak peek at the frames yet to come. But where is the movie actually happening? It happens in the projector. The projector itself is the eternal now. It is the only part of the entire apparatus that is real and active. The light bulb inside the projector is your own pure consciousness. The lens through which that light shines is your current state of being, your beliefs, your assumptions, your feelings. The image that appears on the screen of space is the reflection of the slide that is in the projector right now. To try and create your life from the past is like trying to change the movie by digging through the pile of old frames on the floor. To try and create from the future is like trying to imagine a new frame and hoping it will magically appear on the screen. The only point of power, the only place you can ever change the movie of your life, is by changing the slide that is in the projector right now. When you change your inner state in the now, the reflection on the screen of your life must change to match it. It is the law. How then do we escape the hypnotic pull of psychological time and anchor ourselves in this point of power? We cannot fight the mind. We must simply withdraw our attention from its games and place it somewhere else. There are several sacred gateways into the now, portals that are always available to you. The first gateway is your own breath. We have used it before to calm the static, but now we use it to enter reality. For a moment, bring your full, undivided attention to the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. Feel the air as a physical substance. Feel the aliveness in it. Feel it as the rhythm of the universe, pulsing within your own form. The breath is never in the past or the future. It is always, unfailingly, now. By placing your attention on it, you pull your consciousness out of the phantom world of thought and anchor it in the living reality of the present. The second, and perhaps most powerful gateway, is the inner body. Right now, can you feel the subtle energy that pervades your body? Close your eyes and bring your attention inside. Can you feel the faint tingling in your hands, in your feet? Can you feel the warmth in your chest, the quiet, humming aliveness that is present throughout? This energy field is your direct connection to life itself. It is pure presence. The mind creates time, but the body lives only in the now. You cannot feel your body yesterday. You can only feel it now. Whenever you feel yourself being pulled into anxiety about the future or regret about the past, immediately bring your attention inside. Anchor yourself in the feeling of your inner body. This simple act starves the time-making mind of the energy it needs to survive, and the static of thought will begin to quiet down. Rest in that inner aliveness. That is your true home. The third gateway is radical sense perception. Choose one of your 5 senses and engage it with total presence, as if you have never used it before. For example, listening. For the next minute, just listen. Don't label the sounds. Don't think about what you are hearing. Simply be a vast, open space of awareness in which sounds can arise and pass away. Hear the hum of a machine, the distant siren, the song of a bird, and most importantly, the silence that holds all the sounds. The silence is the now, and the sounds are what is happening in the now. Or, use your sense of sight. Pick up a simple objector pen, a leaf, your own hand. Look at it as if you are an alien from another galaxy who has never seen such a thing. Let go of the mental label hand. See the lines, the textures, the colors, the play of light and shadow. Perceive it with such intensity that there is no room left for stray thought. In these moments of total perception, you are fully present. You have stepped out of the stream of time. When you begin to inhabit the now, the entire structure of your reality shifts. The frantic need to get somewhere else to find happiness dissolves, because you realize that the peace you were seeking in the future is available right here, in the stillness beneath the mind. The desperate ache of desire softens because you understand that the seed of your desire is not a future goal to be attained, but a present potential to be nourished. Your creative work is no longer about striving to reach a future state. It is about aligning with your desired reality in your inner world, now. You embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, now. You water the seed with your focused attention, now. You live your life from the premise that it is already done, now. And as you rest in this state of deep presence, a final, profound realization begins to dawn. The very feeling of you as a separate, isolated individual begins to soften at the edges. You start to sense that your consciousness is not confined by your skin. You begin to feel your connection to everything else. You are ready to experience the truth of the woven fabric of being. As you learn to rest for longer and longer periods in the silent sanctuary of the now, something miraculous and subtle begins to happen. The hard, sharp edges of the self you thought you were begin to soften. The rigid definition of me, contained neatly within the borders of your skin, starts to feel porous, less absolute. In moments of deep presence, you may feel your consciousness expanding beyond the confines of your body, merging with the space in the room, with the sound of the wind, with the gentle aliveness of a tree outside your window. The feeling of being a separate, isolated observer looking out at a separate world begins to dissolve. This is not a flight of fancy or a psychological trick. It is your first, authentic glimpse into a reality that is more true than anything your physical senses have ever told you. You are beginning to awaken from the deepest and most convincing illusion of all, the illusion of separation. And in doing so, you are ready to perceive the magnificent, intricate, and seamless nature of the woven fabric of being. This illusion of separation is the master program of the human ego. It is generated and relentlessly reinforced by the very tools we use to navigate the world. Your 5 senses are instruments designed for survival in the world of form, and their primary function is to make distinctions. Your eyes tell you, "This is my body, and that is the chair." Your sense of touch confirms, "My skin ends here, and the air begins there." This constant stream of sensory data creates a powerful, persuasive, and seemingly undeniable story of separation. Based on this story, the thinking mind, the ego, constructs its entire identity. It builds the narrative of me, a fragile, isolated character set against a world of 7 billion others. This me has a name, a history, a list of possessions, a collection of grievances, and a catalogue of fears. Its primary directive is to protect and enhance itself, often at the expense of those others. This fundamental belief in our separateness is the root cause of every major form of human suffering. It is the seed of loneliness, the soil of conflict, the genesis of jealousy, and the engine of greed. Every war ever fought, every act of cruelty ever committed, has been born from the tragic delusion that their well-being is not intrinsically connected to my own. We are like dreamers, trapped in a collective nightmare of our own making, never realizing that the monster we are fighting is just another aspect of our own dreaming consciousness. To awaken from this nightmare is to see the threads that connect us all. Let us now perceive reality from a higher vantage point. Imagine that all of existence is not a collection of separate objects, but a single, infinite, and luminous tapestry. This is the woven fabric of being. Every galaxy, every star, every planet, every mountain, every tree, every animal, and every single human being, past, present, and future, is not a separate entity, but a single, unique, and absolutely essential thread within this one magnificent fabric. You are not a small, insignificant piece of cloth separate from the rest. You are a living thread, and your existence is interwoven with the existence of all that is. From your limited perspective as one thread, you might perceive yourself as a single point, a node. You see other nodes around you, and they appear to be separate. But this is an illusion created by your limited point of view. In the greater reality of the tapestry, you cannot be separated from the whole without unraveling a part of the entire design. Your presence, your unique color and texture, is essential to the perfection of the whole. Now, this cosmic tapestry is not a static, lifeless thing hanging on a wall. It is alive, intelligent, and humming with vibrant energy. It is a great, cosmic web, and every thread is conscious. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every intention you hold, is a vibration that you send out from your particular thread. This vibration does not stop at the perceived edge of your being. It ripples outwards, instantaneously, across the entire, interconnected network. When you generate a feeling of pure, unconditional love, you are sending a beautiful, harmonious wave across the fabric, a wave that subtly lifts and soothes every other thread it touches. When you hold a thought of bitter resentment or sharp judgment, you are sending out a jarring, discordant, and agitating vibration that contributes to the overall dissonance of the whole. This is not poetry, it is physics. You are a broadcasting station of vibrational energy, and your signal is constantly affecting the entire field. Here, we can finally understand the law of attraction not as a strange, magical trick, but as the simple, elegant physics of this woven fabric. When you consistently send out a clear, strong vibration, the vibration of peace, for example, the universal law of resonance, dictates that other threads, other aspects of the fabric that are vibrating at a similar frequency must be activated and drawn into your direct experience. You are not pulling a separate thing called peace towards you from some faraway place. You are activating the peace that is already inherent within the unified field of which you are an inseparable part. You are simply choosing which aspect of the universal pattern to illuminate with the light of your attention. You are deciding which threads to vibrate in sympathy with. When you begin to live from this profound understanding of oneness, your entire operating system for life is rewritten. The experience of loneliness, for instance, is revealed to be a complete impossibility. How can you be lonely when you are inseparably connected to every being, every star, and every particle in the universe? Loneliness is a phantom created by the ego's story of separation. In stillness, you can feel the silent, supportive presence of the entire cosmos holding you. Your relationship with others is also radically transformed. The concept of us versus them becomes absurd. Harming another person, whether through a cruel word, a hateful thought, or a physical act, is understood not as an attack on a separate entity, but as an act of self-harm. It is like your left hand declaring war on your right hand. In order to send a vibration of harm to another thread, you must first generate that toxic vibration within your own being. The poison must pass through you to get to them. And so, compassion becomes the only sane and logical way to live. Kindness is no longer a moral duty. It is an act of spiritual intelligence, an understanding that the loving vibration you send to another simultaneously heals and uplifts your own thread. Even your definition of success undergoes a revolution. In the old paradigm of separation, success is about competition. It is about winning, about getting more than the other guy. In the new paradigm of oneness, success is about contribution. It is about how purely and authentically you can vibrate your unique note for the benefit of the entire symphony. Your personal success does not take away from anyone else. It adds to the richness and beauty of the whole tapestry. The success of those around you does not diminish you. It enhances the part of the fabric you are connected to, creating a rising tide of well-being. Competition is replaced by co-creation. This is the power behind collective prayer, group meditation, and focused intention. When a group of individuals, a group of threads all begin to vibrate at the same coherent, harmonious frequency, they do not just create individual ripples. They create a powerful, constructive wave. They create a tidal force of creative energy that can genuinely alter the larger pattern of the fabric, bringing healing and positive change on a scale that is difficult for the individual ego to comprehend. So, you see, the journey that started with turning inwards to find your own power has led you to the ultimate realization. Your own power is the power of the universe. The consciousness that looks out through your eyes is the same consciousness that looks out through the eyes of every other being. The intelligence that designed the intricate spiral of a galaxy is the same intelligence that beats your heart. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean, experiencing itself in the form of a single, temporary drop. When you truly feel this oneness, this seamless unity with the fabric of life, the very idea of struggle, of forcing, or of resisting reality becomes nonsensical. There is nothing to fight against, for you are fighting yourself. There is nothing to control, for you are a part of the intelligence that is already guiding everything with perfect wisdom. The only path that remains, the path of the true master, is one of graceful, intelligent, and powerful surrender to the flow of the whole. Resting in the profound awareness of the woven fabric of being, you arrive at a natural and unavoidable conclusion. If you are not separate from the whole, if your own consciousness is a thread in the one great tapestry, then who is there to fight? What is there to resist? The entire concept of struggle, which has defined the human experience for millennia, is revealed to be a phantom war waged against yourself. This realization is the doorway to the practice of surrender. I ask you now to listen with an open heart, because the word surrender is perhaps the most misunderstood and resisted concept in the spiritual vocabulary. The moment it is spoken, the ego rises up in violent protest. To the ego, which is built on the illusion of control and the identity of the doer, surrender means defeat. It means weakness, failure, passivity, and giving up. It is the ultimate threat to its very survival. And so, our first task is to reclaim this sacred word. We must understand that in the lexicon of the soul, surrender is not weakness. It is the highest expression of strength. It is not passivity. It is the most intelligent and powerful form of action. It is the master key that unlocks a life of grace and flow. To understand the power of surrender, we must first diagnose the disease of resistance. The normal state of the unenlightened ego is one of constant, low-level warfare with the present moment. Its entire existence is a silent, continuous argument with what is. You wake up, and the ego's mantra begins. It shouldn't be raining today, I had plans. This traffic shouldn't be here, I'm going to be late. My partner shouldn't be acting this way, they should be different. This feeling of anxiety shouldn't be here, I should be peaceful. This perpetual internal no to the reality of the present moment is the root of all stress, frustration, impatience, and anger. It is an almost incomprehensible waste of your vital energy. To argue with what already is a form of insanity. The rain is already falling, the traffic is already present, the feeling is already in your body. Your argument does not change the reality, but it does create immense suffering for you, the one who is arguing. It is not the circumstances of our lives that cause us pain, but our violent resistance to them. Surrender is the simple yet radical decision to end this insane war. It is the choice to say yes to the present moment, no matter what form it takes. Let us embrace a metaphor. Imagine that the flow of life, you might call it the Tao, the universe, or the will of Godis, a great, wide and powerful river. This river has an intelligence far beyond the comprehension of your thinking mind, and it is always, without exception, flowing towards the vast ocean of greater good, of higher evolution, of the unfolding of a perfect divine plan. Now, most of us find ourselves in a small rowboat on this river, and we are engaged in a heroic, exhausting, and utterly futile struggle. We are trying to row upstream. Our minds have a rigid, fixed idea of where we think we should be going and when we think we should get there. This plan often runs directly contrary to the powerful underlying current of the river. And so we row, we sweat, we strain, our muscles ache, our minds are filled with frustration, we curse the strength of the current. We may even make a little bit of painful, temporary headway, but we are living a life of constant, exhausting struggle. This is the life of resistance. The spiritually awakened person, the one who understands the art of surrender, makes a different choice. From a place of wisdom, they recognize the immense arrogance and futility of pitting their own small, muscular strength against the incomprehensible power of the great river. They make the courageous and intelligent decision to pull the oars back into the boat. This single act is the physical embodiment of surrender. It is the moment you let go of your rigid, egoic plan. It is the moment you stop fighting the current. It is the moment you place your trust in the wisdom of the river, believing that it knows the way to the ocean better than you do. Bhutan, this is the crucial distinction. Surrender is not about becoming a piece of lifeless driftwood, tossed about aimlessly by the currents, bumping into every rock. You have let go of the oars, but you still have the rudder. The rudder is your conscious intention, it is your preference. You still hold the vision of what you desire to create, the seed you are nurturing. As you float with the powerful current of the river, you use the rudder for gentle, intelligent steering. You guide your boat towards the channels that look most clear and inviting. You navigate around obvious obstacles. You are working with the immense power of the river, not against it. You are using its energy to carry you forward, while using your wisdom to guide the journey. This is the life of intelligent, graceful cooperation. It is a dance between your intention and the universe's wisdom. To make this practical, we must clearly distinguish between the act of giving up and the act of letting go, which is surrender. They may look similar from the outside, but their inner energetic signature is completely different. Giving up is an act of despair. It comes from the belief, my desire is impossible to achieve. I am a victim. The world is against me. It is a low-energy state of resignation, hopelessness, and victimhood. When you give up, you drop the oars and the rudder, and you collapse in the bottom of the boat, adrift and without power. Letting go, or surrender, is an act of profound trust. It comes from the belief, My desire, or something even better, is inevitable, and I trust the infinite intelligence of the universe to handle the how and the when. Surrender is the release of your anxious, white-knuckled grip on the specific details of the outcome. You hold the core intention, the general direction of the rudder, but you let go of the need to control every twist and turn of the river. You accept that the universe may have a route to your destination that is far more beautiful, surprising, and efficient than the one your limited logical mind could ever have conceived. Let us use a real-world example. You hold the desire for a deeply fulfilling new career. The way of the ego, the way of resistance, is to become obsessed with one specific job at one specific company. You tailor every word of your resume for it. You rehearse every interview question. You check your email frantically. You are trying to row upstream toward that one specific point on the riverbank. If you don't get that exact job, you are crushed. The surrendered approach is different. You hold the clear intention, the rudder's direction. I am now in a career that is fulfilling, abundant, and uses all my talents for the highest good. You then do your part. You pull in the oars of attachment to a specific outcome. You still update your resume, you go on interviews, you network, you engage with the river. But you do so with a sense of lightness and trust. You are open to possibilities. You understand that the perfect opportunity may come from an unexpected phone call, a chance meeting, a surprising new field you hadn't even considered. You trust the river to carry you to the perfect harbor, and you simply keep your hand gently on the rudder of your core intention. To practice surrender is to consciously and repeatedly release your mental and emotional resistance to what is. When you feel yourself tensing up against a situation, physically relax your body, unclench your hands, soften your belly, drop your shoulders. This physical relaxation sends a powerful signal of safety to your nervous system. Then say to yourself internally, I accept this moment exactly as it is. This does not mean you approve of it or want it to continue forever. It simply means you are no longer at war with the fact that it is here, now. From that place of acceptance, of yes, your actions become infused with a new power, the power of the river itself. Living a surrendered life is not a life of weakness, but one of unburdened strength. It is the supple strength of the reed that bends in the storm and survives, not the rigid strength of the oak that resists and shatters. It is the quiet, yielding power of water which flows around any obstacle and yet, over time, can carve its way through solid rock. When you let go of the oars of struggle, you become light. You become graceful. You feel the constant supportive power of the universe carrying you. And this profound act of letting go, of creating space, performs a powerful magic of its own. It creates a vacuum within you, an openness. And the universe, which abhors a vacuum, immediately rushes in to fill it. But to be able to accept what it offers in return, you must first learn the final, gentle art of keeping your hands open. In the profound stillness that follows the act of surrender, a sacred space is created. You have pulled the oars of struggle into your boat. You have ceased your war against the current of life. This act of letting go, of profound trust, creates a powerful spiritual vacuum within you. And the universe, by its very nature, abhors a vacuum. It immediately begins to rush in, filling this newly created openness with grace, with synchronicities, with unexpected gifts and opportunities. The river, now that you are no longer fighting it, begins to present you with treasures along its banks, a helping hand, a sudden insight, a chance encounter, a moment of breathtaking beauty. The supply is infinite, the grace is constant, and yet, this is where many on the spiritual path encounter a subtle and heartbreaking barrier. We have mastered the art of letting go, but we have failed to learn the art of letting in. The universe offers its gifts with an open hand, but it often finds our own hands clenched into a tight fist. To complete the circuit of creation, we must now learn the final, gentle art of the journey, the art of open hands. It is a strange paradox of the human condition. Many of us, especially those drawn to paths of service, discipline, and self-improvement, are excellent givers. We find our worth and our identity in striving, in helping, in contributing, in working hard. We are conditioned to believe that our value lies in our output. But when it comes time to receive, we become deeply uncomfortable. Receiving a gift, a compliment, or even help can feel awkward, unearned, or selfish. A strange sense of guilt or unworthiness washes over us. Why are we so skilled at the exhalation of giving, but so tragically inept at the inhalation of receiving? To understand this, let us use a simple metaphor. Imagine that you are standing in a constant, gentle, and nourishing rain. This rain is the grace of the universe, the endless flow of abundance, love, and well-being. It is always falling, everywhere, for everyone. Now, imagine that you are holding a cup, the vessel of your own life. When you were born, this cup was turned upright, naturally open to the sky, ready to be filled. But as we grow, we are taught beliefs that cause us to unconsciously turn our cup upside down. We are taught that we must earn our place, that love is conditional, that we are inherently flawed or sinful, that it is always better to give than to receive. And so we stand in the midst of a downpour of blessings, drenched in grace, yet our cup remains stubbornly, inexplicably empty. We look at our empty cup and cry out to the heavens, "Why have you forsaken me? I give so much, why do I receive so little?" We do not realize that the problem has never been the supply of rain. It has only ever been the posture of our own cup. The forces that keep this cup inverted are the twin illusions of guilt and unworthiness. We must now deconstruct the most pervasive lie ever sold to the human race. The idea that worthiness is something that must be earned. This belief is the bedrock of the ego's operating system. It keeps us striving, competing, and perpetually feeling not good enough. Let us challenge this premise at its core. Look at the natural world. Does a rose have to perform a series of good deeds to earn its right to the sunlight? Must an oak tree prove its moral character to earn its right to draw water from the soil? Does a newborn baby have to present a resume of accomplishments to earn its right to be loved and cared for? The very idea is absurd. Their existence is their worthiness. The rose is worthy because it is a rose. The tree is worthy because it is a tree. The baby is worthy because it is a baby. And you are worthy for the very same reason. You are worthy simply because you are. Your existence, your unique thread in the great cosmic tapestry, is its own justification. Worthiness is not a prize to be won at the end of a long struggle. It is your birthright. It is the immutable signature of the divine upon your soul. It is not contingent on your successes, your failures, your bank account, your relationship status, or your perceived moral purity. You were born worthy. You will die worthy. The only question is whether you will allow yourself to experience the worthiness that is already, and always has been, your core identity. Furthermore, we must reframe our understanding of giving and receiving. We see them as two opposing actions, but they are not. They are a single, unified motion. They are the inhalation and the exhalation of the one universal breath. To live a life of only exhaling, only giving, serving, and doing without ever inhaling, receiving, allowing, and being is to deplete your life force. It leads inevitably to burnout, resentment, and exhaustion. It is unsustainable. Conversely, to only inhale without exhaling leads to stagnation, hoarding, and spiritual obesity. A healthy, vibrant spiritual life depends on a balanced, rhythmic, and graceful flow of both giving and receiving. To refuse to receive a gift that is freely offered is to break this sacred rhythm. It is an act of subtle arrogance. It is to say to the universe, "No, thank you. Your gift is not needed. I know better than the natural law of flow." True humility is not in the denial of your own needs, but in the graceful acceptance of the nourishment that life wants to provide. How then do we practice this art? How do we learn to turn our cup upright? It begins with small, conscious acts of opening. Right now, in this moment, I invite you to participate in a simple physical practice. Wherever you are, I ask you to unclench your fists. If you notice any tension in your hands, consciously let it go. Now, gently open your hands and turn your palms to face the sky, resting them without strain on your lap or at your sides. Just hold this posture for a moment. Feel the physical sensation of it. It is a posture of allowing, of vulnerability, of trust. It is the universal posture of one who is ready to receive. As you hold your hands open, you might repeat a simple mantra, a new instruction for your subconscious mind. It might be something like, "I am open to receive. I am worthy of all the good that life desires to give me. I release the need to earn my joy. My being is my worth." Now, take this practice into your daily life. Here is a simple but powerful exercise. The next time a person offers you a genuine compliment, observe your immediate, conditioned reaction. For most of us, the instinct is to deflect it. "Oh, this old shirt." To minimize it. "It was nothing, really." Or to immediately return a compliment out of awkwardness. This is the habit of the inverted cup. The new practice is this. When the compliment comes, pause. Take a conscious breath. Look the person in the eye and with sincerity, simply say, "Thank you." And as you say the words, consciously receive the positive energy they are offering you. Let it in. Let it land. Allow it to nourish you. This small act, repeated over time, will retrain your entire nervous system. It will teach you, on a cellular level, that it is safe to receive. You can also practice with nature. Nature is the ultimate teacher of unconditional giving, and therefore of unconditional receiving. Go outside, stand in the sun, and consciously practice receiving the warmth on your skin. Feel it as a gift. Sit and listen to the birds singing, and consciously receive the beauty of their song. Smell a flower, and receive its fragrance. Nature gives its gifts freely, without demanding anything in return. It does not ask if you are worthy of the sunset, it simply offers it. By consciously receiving these simple, profound gifts, you align yourself with the grace that is constantly flowing. You are not a lonely striver, trying to earn the favor of a distant God. You are a beloved vessel, and your only task is to learn how to open yourself to the love and abundance that are already, and always, being poured out for you. The art of open hands is the art of grace. It is the art of humility, of recognizing that the greatest gifts in life are not the ones we achieve, but the ones we simply allow. It is the art of gratitude in advance. And as you master this art, as you learn to hold your hands open, to surrender to the flow of the river, and receive the gifts it brings, a final, beautiful transformation takes place. You are no longer just a vessel for the gift. The line between the receiver and the received begins to blur. You become the vessel itself, ready to be filled to overflowing with the very essence you once desired. You now stand in a place of profound grace. You have surrendered to the river of life. Your hands, once clenched tight with effort and control, are now open, palms facing the sky, ready to receive. You have acknowledged your inherent worthiness, and you have made yourself available to the blessings that are constantly flowing. This posture of receptive allowance is beautiful and necessary. It is the final stage of the student's path. But there is one more gateway to pass through, one final secret to understand. This is the secret that transforms you from a student of creation into a master. You must now come to realize that what you are waiting to receive is not an external thing. The universe is not preparing to deliver an object, a person, or a sum of money to your doorstep as if it were a package. What you are truly receiving, what you have been calling forth all along, is a state of being. And the fastest, most direct, and most powerful way to receive that state of being is to become it first. This is the final collapse of the illusion of separation. It is the dissolution of the boundary between the creator and the created. It is the sacred art of becoming the vessel. For most of this journey, we have operated, even subtly, on a dualistic model of creation. I am here, we think, and the thing I desire is over there. The work, then, is to perform a series of inner actions visualizing, affirming, feeling, surrendering to pull that desired reality from over there to over here. This model can certainly work. It is a powerful way to begin, but it is the slow path. It is the path that still honors the illusion of separation and the illusion of time. It keeps you in a state of perpetual becoming, always striving towards a future state. It is like trying to attract a beautiful butterfly into your garden. You can run around chasing it with a net. This is the path of struggle and force. Or you can practice what we have learned so far. You can sit very still, cultivate a peaceful energy, and hope the butterfly chooses to land on you. This is the path of surrender and receiving. But there is a third way. There is the master's path. The master does not chase the butterfly, nor does he simply wait for it. The master understands the nature of the butterfly. He asks, what does a butterfly desire? It desires nectar. It desires a flower. And so, the master ceases all effort to attract the butterfly and dedicates himself completely to the task of becoming a flower. When he has become the most vibrant, fragrant, and beautiful flower he can be, the butterfly has no choice but to come, and it does not come as a visitor. It comes home. Do not try to get peace. Become peace, and your world will have no choice but to reflect your serene nature. Do not try to attract love. Become a walking, breathing embodiment of love, and love will find you in every face you meet. Do not try to acquire wealth. Become the state of abundance itself, and the universe will shower you with resources to support the state you are embodying. This is the great principle. Being precedes having. Let us explore this through our final metaphor. Imagine that your desire, your wish for deep love, unshakable peace, or flowing abundance ice, a rare and precious wine. The universe, the divine winemaker, is standing by, ready and eager to pour this wine for you. You are the vessel, the cup, the chalice destined to be filled. But here we encounter two problems. The first is the problem of contamination. Imagine you wish to be filled with the sweet, fragrant wine of unconditional love. But your vessel, your current state of being, is already full to the brim with the bitter vinegar of past resentments, self-criticism, and cynical beliefs about relationships. Can the winemaker pour the precious wine into your cup? Of course not. It would be instantly contaminated and ruined. Before you can be filled with love, you must first empty your vessel of everything that is not love. You must become a clean and ready chalice. The second is the problem of incompatible form. Imagine you wish to be filled with the expansive, generous, flowing energy of true abundance. But your vessel, your consciousness, is small, rigid, and riddled with cracks. The cracks are your limiting beliefs. Money is the root of all evil. I don't deserve more than my parents had. Rich people are greedy. The energy of abundance is like a great volume of liquid light. It cannot be contained in a small, cracked, and constricted pot. Before you can hold the reality of abundance, you must first seal the cracks in your own beliefs and expand the very form of your consciousness. You must become a vessel suitable for abundance. The work, then, is not on the outside. It is not about manipulating the world to get the wine. The work is on the vessel, The work is you. You stop praying for the thing you want, and you start becoming the person who would naturally have it. This is the practice known as living from the end. It is the most powerful creative technique ever conceived because it bypasses the slow, dualistic process of attracting and moves directly into the unified state of being. How do we practice this? You begin by asking yourself a question of profound imaginative power. If my dearest wish were completely fulfilled, right now, at this very moment, who would I be? Not what would you have, but who would you be? What would be your dominant state of being? How would you carry yourself? How would you walk, talk, and breathe? How would you interact with the world? Let us make this physical. If you desire unshakable confidence, how would the confident version of you be sitting or standing right now? Very likely, they would not be slumped over with their shoulders caved in. They would be sitting up straight. Their shoulders would be back. Their chest would be open. Their gaze would be steady. I invite you to adopt that physical posture right now. Feel the shift in your energy as you embody the physical form of your desire. The body and the mind are a feedback loop. By choosing the posture of your ideal self, you send a powerful signal to your subconscious that this is who you are now. Next, you embody the state in your speech. How would the person you wish to be speak? Would the wealthy and abundant version of you constantly complain about prices and scarcity? Unlikely. Would the deeply loved and secure version of you speak with a tone of jealousy or gossip about others? It is improbable. You begin to monitor your words, and you choose to speak as if you are already that person. You speak from a place of generosity, of security, of love. Most powerfully, you begin to act from this state. You make choices based on the assumption that your wish is already fulfilled. This is not about being financially reckless. It is about the subtle energy behind your choices. The person who is already abundant might leave a generous tip for a waiter, not as a show of wealth, an act of the ego, but as a natural expression of their generous spirit. It feels normal to them. The person who is already vibrantly healthy chooses the nourishing meal over the junk food, not as an act of painful, rigid discipline, but as a joyful act of self-love that is perfectly aligned with their identity as a healthy person. The person who is already at peace chooses to disengage from a pointless argument, not out of fear, but because the drama simply has no appeal to their serene state of being. This is not faking it till you make it. That phrase implies a phoniness, a mask. This is faithing it till you make it. You are acting in faith that the person you desire to be is who you truly are, and you are simply shedding the layers of habit and belief that have been obscuring that truth. You are unbecoming everything that is not you, so that the real you can finally be revealed. The search is over. You stop seeking the state, and you start being the state. You stop chasing the butterfly, and you become the flower. You stop praying for the wine, and you dedicate yourself to becoming the perfect vessel. This is the ultimate act of creative power. To embody this new state of being is a profound declaration of your spiritual sovereignty. But as you stand in this newfound identity, a new challenge presents itself. The old world, the reflection of your former self, may not change overnight. Storms of chaos, doubt, and criticism from others may still rage around you. How do you maintain this new state of being? How do you keep your vessel pure when the world tries to fill it with its old vinegar? How do you become the unshakable core in the center of the hurricane? You have done the great work. You have stepped into the state of the wish fulfilled. You have become the flower, the vessel, the walking embodiment of the reality you once desired. You are living from the end. But as you open your eyes, you are confronted with a new and profound challenge. The world around you, the great mirror, often operates with a time delay. It is still for a time reflecting the image of the person you used to be. The people in your life are accustomed to your old patterns, your old limitations, your old vibrational signature. They may, consciously or unconsciously, resist the new you because it disrupts their own familiar reality. The old dramas, the old demands, the old chaos of the world of form will not cease overnight. A storm will come, a crisis will erupt, the winds of circumstance will blow against you. How then do you protect the fragile flame of this new state of being? How do you hold your center when the hurricane of the old world rages around you? The answer is not to build higher walls around your new identity. The answer is to grow deeper roots. You must now cultivate the unshakable core. For most of our lives, we have been engaged in a futile search for external stillness. We dream of a perfectly peaceful life, one free from problems, challenges, and difficult people. We believe that if we could just arrange all the external pieces perfectly, the right job, the right house, the right partner, the right bank account, then we would finally find peace. This is a foundational spiritual misunderstanding. The world of form, the phenomenal world that you perceive with your senses, is by its very nature a world of duality, change, and ceaseless flux. It is a world of polar opposites, light and dark, sound and silence, birth and death, storm and calm. To demand a life without problems is to demand an ocean without waves. To expect a world without storms is to misunderstand the very nature of weather. Chasing a life of perpetual external calm is a fragile and exhausting strategy. You might move to a remote mountain cabin, but your own mind will bring the storm with it. You might cut difficult people out of your life, only to find that new ones appear, reflecting the same unresolved patterns within you. True peace, the peace that passes all understanding, is not circumstantial. It is not conditional. It is not found by manipulating the out there. It is cultivated, grown, and discovered in here. It is the discovery of the silent, unshakable core at the very center of your being. Let us embrace two powerful metaphors to guide us. First, imagine that you are a great, ancient oak tree standing in the middle of a vast field. The leaves and the smaller branches of this tree are your daily thoughts, your fleeting emotions, and your surface-level interactions with the world. When a great storm rolls in, it is natural for these leaves to rustle, for the branches to sway and dance wildly in the wind. A wise oak tree does not waste its energy trying to command its leaves to be still in a gale. It knows this is their nature. The trunk of the tree is your conscious intention, your discipline. It is firm, solid, and has a degree of flexibility. But its true strength comes from something unseen. The real power of the oak tree lies in its roots. The roots are your connection to your deeper being, to the vast, silent, and immovable earth of pure consciousness that lies beneath the turbulent surface of the thinking mind. Your spiritual practice, your meditation, your moments of presence is the process of growing these roots deeper and wider every day. Your spiritual stability is not measured by how still your leaves are in a crisis. It is measured by the depth and the breadth of your root system, which allows you to feel the wind, to even dance with it, without ever for a moment losing your connection to the profound stillness of the earth. Now, let us use another image. Imagine life's chaos, dramas, the deadlines, the crises, the demands, a raging hurricane. The winds are spinning at 100 miles an hour. They are deafening, powerful, and destructive. The instinct is to be on the outside of this storm, trying to fight the winds, trying to build a wall strong enough to stop them. This is the struggle of the ego. But the place of absolute power, the place of perfect stillness, is not outside the storm. It is at its very center. In the eye of every hurricane, there is an area of profound and eerie calm. While the winds rage with impossible violence just a few hundred feet away, in the eye, the sky can be clear and the air can be still. This eye is your own core of silent awareness. It is the observer self we discovered so early in this journey. The hurricane of your life, the chaotic thoughts, the turbulent emotions, the whirlwind of events, all happening at the periphery of your consciousness. But at the center, at the source of the I that is aware of it all, there is always and forever a point of unshakable peace. The work is not to stop the storm. The work is to learn to find your way to its I and to live there. This is not an abstract philosophy. It is a practical, trainable skill. And the training involves two phases: the daily practice and the in-the-moment application. The daily practice is the watering of your roots. This is your non-negotiable time for meditation, for silence, for simply being present. You must treat this not as a luxury or a chore, but as the most vital act of your day. Every 10, 20, or 30 minutes you spend sitting in silence, feeling your inner body, watching your breath, you are not doing nothing. You are actively growing the roots of your oak tree deeper into the soil of being. You are strengthening your connection to the stillness. This daily practice fills your well, so that when the storms of life inevitably hit, you have a deep reservoir of presence to draw upon. The second phase is the application in the heat of the moment. A storm hits. You receive a piece of bad news. You are pulled into a difficult confrontation. You feel the familiar surge of panic, anger, or fear. The winds of the hurricane begin to howl. In this critical moment, your training kicks in. Your task is to immediately find your anchor. You must drop an anchor from the stormy surface of your mind into the calm depths of your being. Your first and most reliable anchor is your inner body. The moment you feel the chaos erupt in your mind, immediately take the spotlight of your attention out of your head and plunge it into the felt reality of your body. Feel the aliveness in your hands. Feel the solidity of your feet on the ground. Feel the rise and fall of your abdomen with your breath. The story of the crisis is happening in the phantom world of thought. Your body, however, is always in the absolute reality of the now. Anchoring your awareness in the body is the fastest way to find the eye of the storm. Your second anchor is the breath. If feeling your whole inner body is too much, just focus on one single breath. Feel the complete physical sensation of that one inhalation and that one exhalation. For the 3 or 4 seconds it takes to do this, you have stepped out of the raging winds of psychological time and into the calm center of the present moment. This one breath is your portable sanctuary. It is always available. Your third anchor is the declaration of your true identity. As the story of me and my terrible problem rages, you silently and powerfully state, from the depth of your being, the simple words, I am. Not I am this body, not I am this personality, not I am this problem. Just the pure, unadorned statement of existence, I am. This declaration pulls your sense of self away from the periphery of the storm, the thoughts and emotions, and returns it to the center, the silent, aware presence that is witnessing it all. Practicing with these anchors does not mean the storm will instantly vanish. The leaves of your tree will still rustle. You may still feel the physiological sensations of fear or anger, but you will no longer be lost in them. You will no longer be identified with them. You are feeling the wind on your face, but your feet are firmly rooted in the ground. You are aware of the violent winds, but you are standing calmly in the eye of the hurricane. Your peace is no longer contingent upon the weather. It has become a quality of your own being that you bring to the weather. You have found your unshakable core. And as you learn to live from this place of profound inner stability, you will find that your values begin to change. The world's frantic definitions of success and wealth start to seem hollow and loud. You begin to discover the silent, profound nature of true inner wealth. As you learn to live from your unshakable core, anchored in the profound stillness at the eye of the storm, a subtle but revolutionary change begins to occur in your perception. The world of form, with all its frantic activity, its loud demands, and its desperate pursuits, starts to look different. It is like watching a chaotic movie from a place of deep, personal silence. You see the drama, you understand the plot lines, but you are no longer lost in the story. From this quiet center, you begin to reevaluate what you once held as important. The goals that once drove you, the ambitions that once consumed you, the societal definitions of success that you once accepted without question, they all begin to seem hollow, strangely two-dimensional. The magnetic pull of the external world weakens. The frantic chase for more money, more status, more possessions, more recognition is revealed for what it truly is, an exhausting game with no finish line and no real prize. This is a pivotal moment in your awakening. You are beginning to withdraw your investment in the illusions of the ego and are ready to discover the nature of true wealth. We must now redefine what it means to live a prosperous life. For our entire lives, we have been conditioned by a culture that defines wealth almost exclusively as material gain. Wealth is a number in a bank account. It is the value of a stock portfolio. It is the size of a house or the brand of a car. We have been taught that the relentless pursuit of this external wealth is the primary purpose of our lives, and that its attainment will automatically deliver the things we truly desire: freedom, security, happiness, and peace. This is the great and tragic lie upon which our modern civilization is built. The pursuit of external wealth as an end in itself does not lead to a rich life. It leads to a new kind of poverty of the soul. Consider the person on this treadmill of material accumulation. They reach their first goal, perhaps a certain income level or net worth. There is a fleeting moment of excitement, a temporary thrill of achievement. But almost immediately, that thrill fades, and the old familiar feeling of not enough returns, the goalpost simply moves. The person with 1 million now desires 2. The person with 2 desires 10. They are on a hedonic treadmill, running faster and faster, but remaining in the same place emotionally. This chase, far from creating freedom, often builds a more sophisticated prison. The wealth, instead of serving them, becomes their master. It brings the constant, low-grade fear of loss. It brings the burden of complex management. It can breed paranoia and suspicion, eroding the foundations of trust and authentic human connection. They become isolated in their gilded cage. They have pursued wealth to find peace, only to discover they have acquired a new and heavy source of anxiety. They have sought a treasure that promised to quench their thirst, and have found themselves drinking salt water. The more they drink, the thirstier they become. To find our way out of this desert, we must return to the wisdom of the gardener. Imagine a foolish gardener who is obsessed with only one thing: the fruit. He spends all of his days counting his apples, polishing them, arranging them in impressive displays, and comparing his harvest to his neighbor's. He constantly demands more and more fruit from his trees. But in his single-minded focus on the fruit, he completely neglects the most important thing: the soil. He does not aerate it. He does not add nutrients. He does not ensure it is properly watered. He does not cultivate a healthy ecosystem of microorganisms. Over time, the soil becomes depleted, compacted, and lifeless. The trees, starved of nourishment, grow sick and weak. The fruit they produce, if any, becomes sparse, small, and bitter to the taste. In his desperate attempt to maximize the harvest, he has destroyed the very source of the harvest. This is the person who chases only money, only status, only external validation. They are trying to force fruit from dead soil. The wise gardener knows the secret. Her primary focus is never on the fruit. It is always on the health and vitality of the soil. She spends her time cultivating a rich, dark, fragrant, and nutrient-dense soil. She knows that if the soil is profoundly healthy, then the trees will naturally be strong, the leaves will be vibrant, and as an effortless, inevitable byproduct, they will produce a bountiful harvest of the most delicious and nourishing fruit imaginable. She trusts the process. She knows the fruit is a symptom of the soil's health. In this metaphor, the soil is your inner wealth. It is the quality of your consciousness. It is the richness and vitality of your inner world. Material wealth, money, assets, possessions is just one of the many types of fruit that can grow from this healthy soil. But it is not the only type, and it is not even the most important. From this same fertile ground of inner wealth also grows the fruit of deep, loving relationships, the fruit of vibrant physical health and vitality, the fruit of boundless creativity, and the fruit of unshakable, profound peace. The person who chases only money is like a child who eats only candy. They may get a temporary sugar rush, but they will end up sick and malnourished. The wise person cultivates the soil of their inner being, and in return, enjoys a diverse, sustainable, and truly nourishing harvest of all of life's riches. So, what are the nutrients that create this rich inner soil? What are the true components of a wealthy life? First, there is the wealth of time. This is not about having more hours in the day. It is about the subjective experience of spaciousness. It is the freedom from the constant, nagging, psychological pressure of "I don't have enough time." It is the ability to be fully present with your child, with your partner, or with a simple cup of tea, without your mind being frantically pulled into the next task. It is a richness of presence, a sense that you have all the time in the world for what truly matters. Next, there is the wealth of connection. This is the profound richness that comes from authentic, deep, and loving relationships. It is the feeling of being truly seen, heard, and accepted for who you are, and the ability to offer that same gift to others. It is the joy of true intimacy, not just with a partner, but with friends, with family, with community, and with life itself. This is a form of wealth that can make a person in a small apartment feel infinitely richer than a billionaire rattling around alone in his mansion. Then, there is the wealth of vitality. This is the sublime experience of a healthy, energetic, and capable body. It is the simple, profound pleasure of waking up feeling rested. It is the joy of easy movement, of a deep and calming breath, of the energy to pursue your passions with vigor. This is a form of wealth that, once lost, no amount of money in the world can truly buy back. A truly wealthy person honors their body as the precious temple of their spirit. And then there is the jewel in the crown, the wealth of peace. This is the direct result of cultivating your unshakable core. It is the ability to remain centered and calm amidst the inevitable storms of life. It is the freedom from the tyranny of chronic anxiety, compulsive worry, and restless agitation. This inner peace is the soil itself. It is the ultimate measure of true prosperity. From this peace, all other forms of wealth flow with ease. Finally, there is the wealth of curiosity and growth. This is the inner richness that comes from a life dedicated to learning, to expanding, to becoming more of who you are meant to be. It is the joy of mastering a new skill, of reading a book that changes your perspective, of traveling to a place that opens your mind. A stagnant life is a poor life, no matter how much money it contains. A life of continuous growth and learning is a life of infinite richness. This is the new definition of wealth. It is not something you acquire or achieve. It is something you uncover. It is the process of tending to the garden of your own being, of realizing the infinite treasure that has been buried within you all along. The truly richest person in any room is not the one with the most impressive title or the largest bank account. It is the one with the most peace in their heart, the most love in their relationships, the most freedom in their own mind. And as you begin to live from this place of authentic inner wealth, your sense of purpose begins to shift. You no longer think about what you can get from the world. You begin to think about what you can give to it. You start to consider your legacy, not in terms of the material things you will leave behind, but in terms of the invisible, indelible mark you are making on the world right now. You begin to contemplate your energetic footprint, living from the sanctuary of your inner wealth, anchored in the unshakable core of your own being. Your perspective on life undergoes its most significant transformation. The frantic energy of personal acquisition fades away. The desperate need to fill a perceived void within yourself is gone, because you have discovered that you were never empty. You are the source. A natural consequence of this realization is that your awareness, no longer turned inward in a neurotic cycle of self-concern, begins to expand effortlessly outwards. The question that animates your days is no longer, "What can I get from the world to make me happy?" but rather, "What is the unique quality of being that I am here to contribute to the world?" You begin to contemplate your purpose, your impact, your legacy. But we must now redefine this word, legacy, stripping away the ego's interpretation of it. Your true legacy is not in the monuments men will build for you, nor is it in the assets listed in your will, nor the achievements that will be recounted in an obituary. Your true, living, and eternal legacy is the invisible, energetic imprint you are leaving on the fabric of existence, in this moment, and this one, and this one. It is the quality of your energetic footprint. For centuries, we have been taught to think of legacy in material terms. We think of the money or property we will leave behind for our children. We think of the business we have built, the books we have written, the art we have created. These are the hardware of a legacy. They are tangible, measurable, and have their place. But there is a software to your legacy that is infinitely more powerful and enduring. And this is the energetic and emotional atmosphere you create around you, day by day. Consider the inheritance you leave your children. You may leave them a fortune, but if you also spent your life modeling anxiety, criticism, and emotional distance, then that is the more powerful inheritance. You have bequeathed to them the software of suffering. Conversely, you may leave them with very little material wealth, but if you have consistently bathed them in an atmosphere of unconditional love, presence, acceptance, and peace, you have given them the greatest and most valuable inheritance possible. You have given them the software of inner wealth. This principle extends far beyond your immediate family. Every single interaction you have, no matter how brief or seemingly insignificant, leaves an energetic footprint. The quality of your presence during a 2-minute exchange with a barista at a coffee shop matters. Do you leave them feeling slightly more seen, more valued, more at ease? Or do you leave them feeling slightly more stressed, invisible, and drained? That subtle energetic shift you impart to them is then carried into their next interaction, with the next customer, with their partner, when they get home. You are initiating a chain reaction of energy. The tone of an email you send to a colleague, the patience or impatience with which you speak to a customer service representative, the silent presence you hold while standing in a crowded elevator, each of these is an energetic transmission. Each is a deposit into the collective emotional bank account of humanity. You are either contributing to the world's stress, or you are contributing to its peace, one interaction at a time. Let us use a metaphor to feel the truth of this. Imagine the collective consciousness of humanity, the unified field of being, is a vast, still, and perfectly receptive lake. Every moment of your existence, every state of being you hold, is like a stone being dropped into this lake. The nature of the stone is determined by your inner state. A moment of quiet, centered peace is a smooth, perfectly round, white stone. A moment of sharp, judgmental anger is a jagged, heavy, dark stone. Now, when the stone enters the water, it makes a splash. This is your direct action, the words you say, the thing that you do. The splash is obvious and immediate, but the true legacy, The far-reaching impact is not in the splash, it is in the ripples. The ripples are the invisible, energetic waves that spread out from your point of impact. They travel in all directions, far beyond your sight, reaching shores of the lake you will never know and influencing parts of the ecosystem you will never witness. And these ripples continue to travel long after the stone has sunk to the bottom and its initial splash has been forgotten. When you drop the stone of anger into the lake, it creates jarring, chaotic, and discordant ripples that disturb the peace of the entire surface. These ripples agitate everything they touch. When you drop the smooth stone of compassion into the lake, it creates gentle, coherent, harmonious ripples that have a calming and soothing effect on the whole. You must understand this. You are constantly dropping stones into the lake. With every breath, with every thought, with every mood, you are creating ripples. The question is not if you are creating a legacy. You are doing so in every moment. The only question is, what kind of ripples are you sending out into the world right now? To live with this awareness is to move into a state of profound spiritual maturity. It is to practice the art of conscious imprinting. This means that before you enter any space, before you engage in any significant interaction, you pause. You take one conscious breath and you ask yourself a simple question: what energy do I choose to bring into this room? What energetic footprint do I intend to leave behind here? This simple question shifts you from a reactive creature of habit into a conscious creator of your impact. It is the difference between being a piece of driftwood tossed into the lake and being the hand that consciously chooses the stone. You will begin to realize that you can alter the energy of an entire room without saying a single word. If you enter a tense business meeting and everyone is vibrating with the energy of anxiety and conflict, you have a choice. You can allow their chaotic ripples to disturb your own state, or you can practice what you have learned. You can anchor yourself in your unshakable core. You can become the eye of the storm. By holding a strong, silent, inner state of peace, your presence itself becomes the most powerful stone dropped into that turbulent water. Your coherent ripples of calm begin to spread out, and they will, by the law of resonance, begin to entrain and harmonize the discordant ripples around you. People may find themselves inexplicably calming down in your presence without knowing why. You have become a positive, energetic influence, a human tuning fork for peace. This reframes the entire purpose of your work in the world. Whatever your job title may be, your deeper, true vocation is the vibration you bring to that job. You might be a teacher, but your true legacy is not in the curriculum you taught, but in whether you left a footprint of inspiration or one of fear in the hearts of your students. You might be a software engineer, but your true legacy is whether you contributed an energy of collaborative genius or one of competitive ego to your team. You might be a parent, but your legacy will be the emotional atmosphere of your home, the primary energetic soil in which your children's souls were nurtured. Your job is the what. Your energetic footprint is the how. And in the final analysis of a life, the how is infinitely more important. So, live your life with this beautiful and solemn awareness. Your time on this earth is a unique, unrepeatable and sacred opportunity to make your mark. But that mark is not carved in stone. It is written in water. It is a signature of vibration. The material things you accumulate will eventually turn to dust. The money will be spent by others. The achievements will be forgotten. The only thing that truly endures, the only thing that is real, is the quality of the energy you broadcasted into the world. The love, the peace, the joy, the compassion, the forgiveness are their opposites. That is the ripple that flows outwards into the eternal fabric of time. When you live with this profound awareness of your impact, with this sense of sacred responsibility, you come to a final, liberating realization. The need to hold on to any of it, even the desire to leave a good legacy, begins to feel like one last subtle attachment. You are now ready to discover the ultimate freedom, the freedom that lies beyond all doing and all wanting. You are ready to explore the freedom of non-attachment. You are now living with a profound sense of purpose. You are aware that with every thought, every word, every silent state of being, you are leaving an indelible, energetic footprint on the world. You have moved beyond the small concerns of the ego and have embraced your role as a conscious contributor to the whole. You have become a beacon of the energy you wish to see in the world: peace, love, clarity. This is a beautiful, powerful, and noble place to be, and yet there is one final gateway to pass through. There is a freedom that lies even beyond the desire to do good, a peace that is not dependent on leaving a positive legacy. It is the discovery that even our most beautiful intentions, our most spiritual desires, can become a final golden chain that binds us. If your inner peace is contingent upon creating a peaceful world, it is still contingent. If your happiness depends on leaving a legacy of love, it is still dependent. The ultimate liberation, the final homecoming, is the discovery of the freedom of non-attachment. It is the ability to let go of even the golden chains and to float untethered in the infinite ocean of being. To understand non-attachment, we must first be brutally honest about the nature of attachment. Attachment is the root mechanism of all suffering. It is not the same as love. You can love someone or something with all your heart without being attached. Attachment is not care. You can care deeply about a cause or a person without being attached. Attachment is a specific, fear-based, energetic state. It is the unconscious belief that says, I need this external thing, this person, this outcome, this status, this belief to be okay. My sense of self, my peace, my wholeness is dependent on it. The moment you graft your inner well-being onto something outside of yourself, something conditional and impermanent, you have set yourself up for inevitable suffering. It is a game that is rigged against you from the very beginning. Consider the mechanics of this trap. When you do not have the thing you are attached to, you suffer from the anxiety of getting. Your mind is consumed with striving, planning, and worrying. Your energy is a tense, needy vibration of lack. Then, if you succeed and finally get the thing you are attached to, are you free? A new and more insidious form of suffering begins, the anxiety of losing. You are now constantly guarding your treasure, protecting it, worrying about it. Your peace is fragile, always threatened by the possibility of change. So whether you fail or succeed in the game of attachment, the outcome is the same. You suffer. Attachment is the ego's desperate, futile attempt to find permanence and security in a world that is, by its very nature, impermanent, fluid, and ever-changing. It is an attempt to build a solid fortress on the surface of a flowing river. Let us use a final, simple metaphor. Imagine that you are walking on a beach and you find a handful of beautiful, glittering sand. This sand represents anything you might be attached to. A relationship, your career, your youth, your spiritual identity, even your desire for enlightenment. It is precious to you. The instinct of attachment is to clench your fist as tightly as you can around this sand. You are terrified of losing it. You believe that by possessing it, by controlling it, by squeezing it, you can make it yours forever. But what is the inevitable result? The tighter you squeeze, the more the fine grains of sand slip through the cracks between your fingers. Your desperate, fear-based effort to hold on is the very action that causes you to lose what you are trying to keep. And all the while, your hand is a tense, white-knuckled, and useless claw. It cannot give, it cannot receive, it cannot do anything else. It is imprisoned by its own clinging. This is the painful, exhausting, and self-defeating state of attachment. Now, consider the posture of non-attachment. It is the posture of the open palm. You hold the same beautiful handful of sand, but you do so with a relaxed, open hand. You can fully appreciate its beauty. You can feel its texture and warmth. You can enjoy its presence in your life completely because you are not afraid of it leaving. You are not clinging. You are simply allowing it to be. If a gust of wind comes and blows some of the sand away, you do not panic. You do not despair. You watch it go with a sense of equanimity, knowing that your own peace, your own wholeness, was never in the sand. Your peace is in the stillness of the hand that is holding it. And because your palm is open, it is also free to receive any new treasures the universe may wish to place there. It is a state of grace, of lightness, of true and profound freedom. At this point, the logical mind may protest. If I am not attached to my goals, won't I lose my motivation? If I let go of the outcome, won't I just become a passive couch potato? This is the ego's final argument, its last-ditch effort to maintain control, and it is based on a complete misunderstanding of universal law. The truth is the great paradox of creation. Non-attachment is the most powerful catalyst for manifestation. When you are desperately attached to an outcome, you are broadcasting a powerful, energetic signal of neediness, of fear, and of lack. You are telling the universe, I am not whole without this thing. This tense, discordant vibration actually constricts the creative channels. It repels the very thing you are pursuing. It is like trying to catch a bird by lunging at it. Your desperate energy only frightens it away. When you truly let go, when you release your attachment to the outcome, your energetic signature changes completely. You begin to radiate an energy of trust, of peace, of wholeness, of self-sufficiency. You are sending a clear message to the universe. I would prefer this outcome, and I am taking joyful action towards it. However, my happiness, my peace, and my wholeness are not dependent on it. My state of being is complete and perfect, right now, regardless of the outcome. This high vibration, non-resistant state of trust is the most powerful creative vacuum you can generate. It allows the universe to rush in with solutions, synchronicities, and opportunities that your tense, controlling mind could never have orchestrated. Freed from the crippling fear of failure, your actions become more powerful. You become more creative, more intuitive, more authentic, more daring. You can play the great game of life with a sense of joyful lightness, like an artist at play, rather than with the grim, fearful determination of a soldier in battle. You do your best, you act with integrity and passion, and then you open your hand and you let the results be what they will be. This is true power. This state of non-attachment culminates in the ability to love what is. It is the end of your argument with reality. It is the peace that comes from the deep, cellular understanding that whatever the river of life brings before you in this moment is the perfect and necessary curriculum for your soul's evolution. It is not always what your ego wants, but it is always what your spirit needs. You learn to find the perfection in the so-called imperfect. You see the grace in the challenge, the lesson in the loss, the hidden beauty in the ordinary. The war is over. There is no one to fight, nothing to prove, and nowhere to get to. You are simply here, in this moment, in this body, holding it all with the open palm of your peaceful awareness. You realize, finally, that you are not the stone that is dropped into the lake. You are not even the ripples that spread out from the splash. You are the vast, silent, and motionless water that allows the entire, magnificent play of stones and ripples to take place. And when you rest in this state of supreme freedom, when you have mastered your mind, your energy, and even your own attachments, you arrive at the final destination of this entire journey. You come face to face with the ultimate truth of your own identity. You realize that you are not just a part of the source of reality, a mere thread in the tapestry. You are the source. You have walked the path with courage and with grace. You have stood in the doorway of the inner mint and become the silent observer. You have tamed the inner static and learned the language of feeling. You have faced the mirror of your reality and taken responsibility for the reflection. You have traveled back in time to forgive your old debts. You have practiced the alchemy of the shadows, stood as the architect of your words, and disciplined your wandering gaze. You have surrendered to the great river of life, learned to receive with open hands, and finally, have embodied the state you once desired. You have even learned to let go of the fruits of your own creation, holding your accomplishments with an open palm. You have reached the pinnacle of freedom. The search is over. The striving has ceased. The desperate need to become someone, to get somewhere, has dissolved into the profound stillness of your own being. In this final sacred silence, the last and most subtle illusion is now ready to fall away. All this time we have spoken of your journey, your power, your consciousness. We have spoken of roles: the observer, the alchemist, the gardener, the master. But even these are subtle identities, concepts that imply a doer and a thing to be done. We must now take the final step. We must dissolve the doer. We must go beyond all roles, all concepts, and all techniques to the fundamental, unshakable, and self-evident reality of what you truly are. Let us retrace the path, not as a series of steps taken, but as a series of dualities collapsed. The entire journey has been a process of unification, of returning to wholeness. First, we collapsed the primary duality of me and my thoughts. You realized you are not the voice in your head, but the silent awareness that hears it. Then we collapsed the duality of me and my feelings. You learned you are not the anger or the fear, but the spacious presence in which those energies can arise and pass away. We then collapsed the great duality of me and the external world, understanding that the world is but a mirror of your inner state, not separate from it. We moved on to dissolve the duality of me and my past, seeing that its power was only in your present moment attention. We collapsed the duality of me and the flow of life, learning to surrender and cooperate rather than resist. We have even collapsed the duality between the seeker and the sought by embodying the state we once pursued. Each step has brought you closer to unity, but one last great duality remains. It is the most subtle, the most profound, and the most deeply ingrained. It is the duality of the Creator and the creation. Even in our most empowered state, we still perceive this separation. I, the conscious creator, am using my power to act upon the universe, the thing I create with. But what if this final separation is also an illusion? Consider your experience when you are dreaming at night. In your dream, you experience a complete, seemingly external world. There are other people you talk to. There are landscapes you walk through. There are events that happen to you. Your dream self, the character you identify with, feels like a separate individual, reacting to the circumstances of the dream world, just as you feel you are reacting to the circumstances of this waking world. The dream feels real. The separation feels absolute. But what happens the moment you awaken? In that instant of clarity, you realize a staggering truth. You were everything in the dream. You were the dream. Character, yes. But you were also the other people it was interacting with. You were the angry boss, the loving partner, and the indifferent stranger. You were the ground beneath your feet, the walls of the room, the sky above your head. You were the monster that was chasing you and the safe harbor you were running towards. Every single element of the dream was a projection of your own, single consciousness. There was no actual separation. There was no other. It was all you. The creator and the created were one and the same. Now, dare to apply this same logic to this experience we call waking life. The great sages and mystics of all traditions have taught this one ultimate truth. This reality, which feels so solid, so external, so separate, is also a form of dream. It is a projection of a consciousness so vast, so infinite, so intelligent, that it boggles the personal mind. You might call this the mind of God, the unified field, Brahman, or simply the source. And the final secret is this: you are not a separate being that was born into this cosmic dream. You are the cosmic dreamer, dreaming the dream of being you. Let us return to the central metaphor of this entire journey, the inner mint. We said that your thoughts were the currency that shaped your reality. This has been a useful and powerful model. But now we must ask, from where does the raw material for this currency come? Where does the infinite supply of gold and silver, the pure, unmanifested potential, originate? Does it come from some external treasury that you must access? Or does it arise endlessly and effortlessly from the infinite, formless field of your own being? Who is the observer that is watching the thoughts? Who is the alchemist that is feeling the emotions? Who is the consciousness that is aware of the mirror of reality? Who is the silent presence in the eye of the storm? Follow these questions back to their source. Trace them back, past the mind, past the personality, past the sense of being a separate me. Where do you end up? You end up here, now, in the simple, self-evident, and silent awareness of being. This awareness is not in the universe. The universe is in this awareness. The consciousness that is hearing these words right now is the origin point of all experience. It is the source. The great sages of the Vedas declared this truth in the simple statement, Tat TV Azi, thou art that. You are not just a wave on the surface of the ocean of existence. You are the entire ocean. You are not just a sunbeam, a product of the sun. You are the sun itself, experiencing itself as a single beam of light. Let us collapse our metaphors one last time. You are not just the gardener tending to the seeds of desire. You are the garden itself, the seeds within it, and the sun that shines upon it. You are not just the architect drawing the blueprints. You are the blueprint, the obedient builder, and the very land upon which the structure is built. You are not just the rower in the boat on the river of life. You are the rower, the boat, and the river. You have spent this whole journey searching for Aladdin's lamp, hoping to gain control of the genie. And you stand here now at the end of all searching, with the final, breathtaking realization: you are not Aladdin, you are the genie. The power was never something you had to find, to earn, to acquire, or to control. The power is what you are. It is inseparable from your very being. And so, the journey ends where it began, in the simple, profound, and luminous fact of your own existence. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to become. There is nothing left to learn. There is no one to forgive. There is nowhere to get to. All seeking dissolves in the face of this ultimate truth. The path was never about becoming someone new, someone better, someone more spiritual. It was only ever about unbecoming all the things you were not, so that you could realize the perfection of who you have always been and always will be. You are not a creation of God. You are God, experiencing yourself as a creator. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. You are the source. And so, we arrive at the end of the path, only to find ourselves standing exactly where we began, but seeing with new eyes. Let us return for one final moment to the image of the inner mint, the great forge of your consciousness. When we first entered, it was a place of chaos and noise, the fires of untamed emotion burning erratically, the hammers of unconscious thought striking without discipline. Look at it now. The fires have calmed. The hammers are at rest. The great furnace of creation now glows with a soft, steady, golden light, emanating from the quiet certainty of your own being. The frantic clanging has been replaced by a deep, resonant silence. Look down at what lies upon the anvil. In this final moment of realization, a new coin has been forged. It is not a coin of a specific desire, not of wealth, nor of love, nor of health. It is the master currency from which all others are made. It is a coin of pure presence, a coin of perfect stillness. It is warm to the touch. It does not glitter, it simply glows. It has no inscription, for it represents no single thing. It is the substance of all things. This is the most valuable currency in the universe, and it is the very essence of who you are. Hold this realization, feel its weight, its truth, its simple, undeniable reality. There is nothing more to learn, nothing more to seek. Everything you have been searching for in the world of form, you have just returned to within yourself. The journey was never about becoming someone new. It was always about remembering who you have always been, beneath all the noise and all the stories. Carry this simple truth with you, not as a complex philosophy, but as a quiet, internal resonance. Let it be the anchor in your every storm. Let it be the silence that underlies your every thought. Let it be the peace that infuses your every action. To help you remember, hold this final mantra in your heart. Let it be a touchstone, a key to unlock this state of being whenever you feel you have forgotten. Repeat it silently and feel the power in each line. I am the thinker, I am the thought, I am the currency, and I am the wealth. Let these words now dissolve. Let the concepts fall away. Let the journey itself fade into the background. All that is left is the truth of your own presence. The endless search is over. You have arrived. Now, simply be.